teaching me from this. Keep it from your friends. Show me how you wanna feel. Take it with control. I might show you things you didn't know. You rise for miles above the world. On and on, let it burn all night. We won't even stop for the morning light. Oh, high above the clouds. On and on, let it burn all night. We keep rising up so high. Miles and miles. Tell me what you wanna see. Don't turn off the lights. Take what you want from this. Try to catch me by surprise. Tell me what you wanna see. Bring me to the edge. Get me time and time again. We rise for miles above the world. On and on, let it burn all night. We won't even stop for the morning light. Oh, high above the clouds. On and on, let it burn all night.
We bring you to Mustang Panther Stadium in Grapevine, Texas for this District 3 5A Division II matchup. It's Grapevine, who is coming off a disappointing loss to open district play last week and is eager to steer the herd back into the winning column. They'll face a surging Arlington Seguin team who is not only undefeated, but also is looking to make the playoffs in back-to-back years. It's the Grapevine Mustangs versus the Arlington Seguin Cougars. Hello and welcome to the Mustang Friday Night Show on Tradio. Our title sponsor is Grubbs Family of Dealerships. I'm with former Mustang wide receiver Drew Doherty tonight, and I'm Mason Doherty, here to get you ready for tonight's matchup. The Grapevine Mustangs, they came up short in their battle last week against Everman, where they lost 12-7 down in South Fort Worth. It was a game that ended with a possible game-winning drive that was halted due to a questionable holding call. Now, Arlington Seguin, they opened district play last week with a 21-0 win against Burleson, where they caused 3 turnovers, including an interception that ended in a touchdown. The game came down to the wire, though, with a pass breakup in the end zone to seal the game for the Cougars. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have our interview with the head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs, Ryan Smith, as you're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
And we welcome you back to Mustang Friday Night on Tradio, our title sponsor tonight, Grubbs Family of Dealerships. Joined again by head coach of the Grapevine Mustangs, Coach Ryan Smith. Coach Smith, how's it been this week?
Man, pretty good. Just kind of getting back rolling and getting guys refocused kind of on Seguin and getting them ready to play.
Well, speaking of getting refocused, I did want to do just a little bit of a recap from last week against Everman. What were some things that you noticed from taking a look at the film that you definitely want to be working on leading up to your game against Arlington Seguin?
So, you go back and look. I thought Coach Smalls and our defensive staff did an incredible job. I thought played really well defensively. We obviously didn't finish in what we call the green zone. So the red zone for us is 20 to the 8-yard line. The green zone is the 8-yard line to the goal line. We're in the green zone 3 times and can't finish but once, and then have the block field goal. We're consistently one guy away. The thing for us right now with where we are as a program and kind of our rebuild is we're at a place where we have to completely obsess over controlling the controllable entities within our program. 2 of those is our attitude and our effort. We've been trying to kind of reframe their game day experience. We've been trying to kind of reframe, what they do, from a standpoint, how they operate, PreGame. We do some different things. Last year, we kind of got the impression it was a very tense, quiet, don't talk, which is nothing wrong with that model. That's just not really who I am. And we've been talking about the term loose but locked in. the first game we weren't loose, but we were locked in. Once we loosened up, all of a sudden we started playing well. Game 2, I thought we found a very healthy balance of being loose, relaxed, but locked in, and you saw the results. This past week, I felt we almost got a little bit too loose and less locked in, if you will. And so you kind of saw the results of that. So that when you get into controllable entities, like we talk two different terms. I think on Friday night, I tell our kids, on Friday night, everybody's hyped. Everybody's hyped. Everybody's ready, hyped up for a football game. But hype is something that will last you about a half a quarter. But we want our guys to be emotionally invested into what the game requires. And we want them emotionally invested into 4 quarters, 4 days, whatever it takes. And that's kind of the term we use. So we come out of it, not so much even a schematic thing. I think we had a good scheme. I think we missed a few third-level shots that we got to hit. Defensively, if we don't miss 5 tackles on one play, we win the game 7-6. They had one explosive play. So those are things that we focus on. And when we come in on Saturday, we watch the top 10% and the bottom 10%, the good and the bad, if you will, of the game. And our 5 bad plays that we showed our team on Saturday morning in review, those 5 plays would have resulted in the score. If we just don't have those 5 bad plays, the score would have been 28-0. We would have won 28-0 on 5 plays. And whether that was a defensive stop, whether that was a special teams field goal, whether that was, finishing the run down on the goal line, on the check we had, those type things. And I mean, that's extremely frustrating when that game could have been a shutout win and you end up losing it late just because you don't execute a couple plays. So, those with where we are as a program, nothing's a loss, everything's a lesson. And getting our guys to kind of understand that mentality helps us to play forward and to have a forward mindset.
Well, definitely some plays that were left to be desired for sure, Coach. But defensive side, definitely want to call out a couple of players here. First, Jalen Carson, who had the key interception earlier in that game. And I just want to ask from you, Coach, what has been the development of him here lately from you go back to the offseason to where he's at now? What kind of progress are you seeing from him?
He's just a kid. Had played a lot of football. So him being able to come in and find his rhythm in it and start to make plays. I'll be honest with you, the interception he had, he never knew he even caught the ball. He never even saw the ball. He was breaking on the receiver, and the ball just hit him in the chest, and he goes, oh, okay, cool. Which, hey, man, that's a great thing because he's moving fast. He's getting to the football. Excited about him. He has measurables. He has length. He has a lot of things that you just can't coach. And when he applies those things, it makes it pretty, it makes him pretty special. Excited about him. He's doing a good job. He's starting to kind of lead that back in and communicate things really well for us.
Well, hey, it's all about being at the right place at the right time sometimes.
100%.
Yeah. Well, another standout player I want to talk about is Jaron Butts Jr. At that size that he possesses down there in the trenches, we could clearly see it from the press box. And it looked like he had a pretty productive night on Friday, being able to contain his gaps and also to cause some pressure against Everman. What have you seen from him lately? Because he really had a standout game on Friday.
Yeah, so Jaron moved in. He's a recent move in for us. He hasn't been with us long. But he's done a phenomenal job. And the thing about him is he's a big teddy bear, man. That's what I told him. I was really proud of him. We honored him with a weekly award. And I said, hey, dude, please stop picking people up after you knock them over. And I was half kidding, but he is such a, gentle John, if you will. But, man, smile on his face all the time, just a lot of fun. And he gives us a presence. And it allows us to get a little bit more positionally sound with some other guys because we like Hicks on the edge and kind of moving in space a little bit more than having to catch some double teams. Jared can manage those double teams as big as he is, as strong as he is. He can manage some of that and free up And you just don't understand how important it is for our linebacker play to have a guy like that in front of them that can absorb some of those double teams and keep them from getting chipped off and getting climbs to the second level.
Well, going into this week's game against Arlington Seguin, Coach, you talk about just hitting that reset button. What is the game plan like for you all this week? I mean, what are you noticing from Arlington Seguin, and what does the Grapevine Mustangs need to do to be successful on Friday night?
So Coach is a great guy. I've known him since 2022, and then obviously playing against him at Midlothian Heritage, but then also on the recruiting trail, knowing him, from recruiting that area. It put us in a position. I know him. He does a great job. He's building a good culture there. And, I mean, they're athletic. They run well. But, schematically, we're going to try to create leverage with alignments. We're going to try to do some different things like that. That's going to put us at a spatial advantage. And, our job is to put our guys in position to be successful. Well, that's us studying scheme, knowing alignment, knowing assignment, trying to limit their explosives. Is a big thing for us, and that's kind of a focus point for us.
Well, Coach Smith, we appreciate your time as always. And folks, stick around after we come back from commercial break. We'll go over some keys to the game and get you ready for Grapevine versus Arlington Seguin. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. PTL, go Stangs.
Can't get enough. No. Just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
And welcome back to Mustang Friday Night. Let's get you caught up on some keys to the game here regarding players, and referring back to last week, where a bright spot for Grapevine was running back Jake Graham last week, who had 20 carries for 123 yards and 1 touchdown while averaging 6.2 yards per carry, a season high for him. He continues to have a really strong 2025 campaign and getting noticed for his strong play around Texas. Now, how important is that for Grapevine to have a consistent running game here tonight, Drew?
Well, when you have a running back like Jake Graham, kind of that workhorse style, can run the ball many times a game, it can wear down a defense. With this RPO offense, it allows the guys on the outside to make plays and get open. But when you got a running back tandem and Jake Graham and Jaime Sanchez, you could just keep kind of going until the defense has a game plan to stop it.
Well, it seems like Grapevine so far this year has tried to have that mindset. We're going to try to establish that run game first in the early part of the game to really open up those passing lanes.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's what this offense is all about. That's what they practice. The coach takes pride in how many options there are in a single play. So it'll be exciting to see. One thing I know that they worked on this week was the snap. The snap was kind of on the ground, kind of made the quarterbacks, Jalen Holmes and Ty Johnson, kind of improvisation as soon as the snap. Yeah. So I know they're going to look to improve on that this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to Jake Graham one more time, that is one tough kid to bring down too, and a sophomore, might I add, as well.
Yep, he's a young vet, as they say. He's got a couple more years left at Grapevine, and so he's going to leave an impact.
Absolutely. Well, moving over to defense, a defense that caused 2 turnovers last week for Grapevine, including an interception by Jalen Carson and a forced fumble by Cooper Towery, who delivered the boom on the running back of Everman. So for tonight, it should be more about controlling that speed that the Cougars do possess here tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely some highlight plays from the defensive side last week. But it's going to be important to have those explosive defensive plays, but just keeping it simple on that side of the ball. Starts with leverage, sticking to your gaps in the linebacker and the defensive line, and then tackling. Yep. You don't want to over pursuit. You want to make sure that you're taking the right angles, and not allowing the big chunk plays.
Well, Drew, you were a former receiver, but you got a little bit of experience in linebacker too. Does that just go back to pure practice as far as those tackling skills go, or is it a little bit of experience too on Friday nights?
Yeah, so definitely in the summer and spring ball, the coaches wheel out those Oklahoma drills, those open field tackling where the defensive player is put on the spot out there on an island. But I'd say when you get to this time of year when the games are going on, it's about doing your job. And that means if you're an outside linebacker like I was myself, keep contained on the outside and let everybody else that's coming on the inside fall suit.
Yeah, that'll be key to watch here tonight. And then the third portion of football, special teams, which is kind of still a work in progress for Grapevine. They've had some bright moments with Austin Schilling kicking field goals, but unfortunately there was a blocked field goal and punt last week against Everman. Now, in a game where Grapevine will need to play a clean game tonight to compete with the Cougars, how can the special teams become a factor?
It's really a mentality when it comes to special teams, and in terms of just keeping your leverage and staying in your lane and making sure that no one is kind of forcing through that line of scrimmage and push. So you really got to have some pride when you're out in that field goal unit. Like, you're going to protect this kicker and make sure that that they don't make any big plays on that side of the field.
And you have to think that it probably gets even to the mindset of the kicker / punter in that case too, knowing that pressure is coming. And so back to your point, Drew, I think it's going to be extra important here tonight to shore up those gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you want to have your field goal unit have an identity of, we're going to protect our kicker just like he's the quarterback. We're going to allow him time to get the kickoff and the hold. And, looking forward to see the improvements this week going into this one.
Well, you see how Grapevine's making the traditional walk down the student section onto the field. We'll take a short break here, and then we will come back with your keys of the game as Grapevine takes on Arlington Seguin on Mustang Friday night on Tradio.
American Power. Texas Drive, classic Chevrolet, #1 in the world, limited time, a special selection of new Chevys, more than anyone, all priced below market value, plus pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we welcome you back to Mustang Friday night pregame show on Tradio. Mason Doherty along with former wide receiver Drew Doherty of the Mustangs. And let's get into the keys of the game here tonight. Basically kind of what we talked about before with the players in mind, but this first part here, allowing that running game for Grapevine to open up the passing lanes. I think it's something that Grapevine has been striving to do, and I think it's going to become a crucial part here tonight against the Cougars.
Yeah, absolutely. Grapevine's going to want to establish the run early. But what I would say to that as well is get the quick passes out early as well for both these quarterbacks, Jalen Holmes and Ty Johnson. Get them in a comfortable rhythm and throwing the ball early in the game. That way, when maybe it's third and long situations later in the game, they both have some completions under their belt. And you want to keep the run established as well. The run game will allow these receivers on the outside to get open.
Absolutely. You see the Mustangs now take the field out of the inflatable helmet. But, yeah, Drew, you make a good point, and Coach Smith has talked about that in the early going of the season about making sure that his quarterbacks are getting the ball out quickly. And you have to think that also gets your quarterback a little bit of rhythm, too.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely does. Whether it's just a 5-yard little over-the-ball route, a slant route, it doesn't have to be a deep shot to give these quarterbacks some confidence. So I think we'll see that going early in this game, especially with the RPO offense. Defense maybe playing the run, and then you can just kind of take your what the defense gives you there.
Well, and speaking of passing, the second part of our top storylines for tonight is for Grapevine to connect on those big explosive plays through the air. And we saw it a handful of times last week. They tried, and most of those throws just unfortunately were overthrown.
Yeah. They worked on the timing this week in practice, and you just got to take what the defense gives you. It's a cliche, but really, if they're playing the run and there's a pass option guy down the field and he's open, take the shot, trust your guy to make the play.
Well, and then the last part here is for Grapevine just not giving up second opportunities to the offense. And what we mean by that is you go back to last week, Everman's quarterback who was able to create that 35-yard touchdown run from breaking about 5 tackles. And the Cougars have speed. You're going to see a lot of that here tonight. And for Grapevine, definitely seems like shoring up that tackling will be a big focus.
Yeah, we may even see some more speed with this matchup. A very talented roster on the Seguin side. But really the goal for the Grapevine defense is going to be to, get off the field on third downs. But with those missed tackles, you want all 11 on defense to rally to the football. Even if you're on the other side of the field, start running and get towards the football and finish plays.
Well, and that's a good point, Drew. And does that kind of just come back to a little bit of fundamentals or effort? What does that go back to as far as rallying to the ball carrier?
It first starts in the film room, I'll say that. Whenever maybe a player is spotted not fully running to the football. But, yeah, no, it's definitely kind of goes back to the goal line identity. Your defense, you want to have an identity of being tough, relentless, and finishing plays.
Well, and speaking about being relentless and tough, we saw a little bit of that last week. I mean, that tackle, we brought it up on the previous segment. Cooper Towery, I mean, you talk about a guy that brings that physicality, and really for that moment, tried to flip the switch, and it did there for a little bit for Grapevine.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely did. Great play by the veteran Cooper Towery there. Yeah, he makes highlight films on defense, which is special. And he's, a two-way player on offense as well, so he can score touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball. But, yeah, on defense, he is a human highlight reel with the way his effort is in getting this defense. And getting the defense he's kind of the quarterback of this defense as well. So, high football IQ, and he's going to be ready to play tonight.
For sure. Well, down on the coin toss, it looked like a coin toss, but denied the ball, so Grapevine will receive to begin this ball game, while the Arlington Seguin Cougars will receive the ball in the second half. And now we will take it down to the field for the Star Spangled Banner. And we welcome you to Mustang Friday Night on Radio. That was a pregame show that you just listened to. And we bring you now to Grapevine versus Arlington Seguin. Our title sponsor tonight is Grove's family of dealerships. Mustang Panther Stadium in Grapevine, Texas, for between Grapevine and Arlington Seguin in this 5A Division II game, where Arlington Seguin is going to try to stay undefeated, while Grapevine is going to try to get back into their winning ways, while unfortunately losing last week to Everman. So, Drew, for tonight's game, you have a Grapevine team that is still just in that process. And, talking to Coach Smith this week, he thought his guys, it's a little bit of a balance, right, between playing loose but also playing focus. And he thought that game last week was just a little too loose and just not as locked in.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There was, the game kind of came down to five or so, very small amount of plays that really kind of made the impact on that game. And yeah, you'd imagine that Grapevine, they went back this week, tightened up some things, and ready to get after it tonight.
Yeah, you have to think that they'd be very eager to make sure to erase the memory of last week. They played against an Everman team that was outscored 105-0 entering that ball game against Grapevine, but Everman came away with the really tough win there, 12-7. But Arlington Seguin is a playoff contending team here in District 3 5A Division II. These two teams, they met each other for the first time last year, where Arlington Seguin won 41-3. Kay Moreland was the only one that scored for Grapevine as he kicked a 34-yard field goal. And also Chevy Andrews, we're going to call his name a lot here tonight. Arlington Seguin quarterback, 16 completion for 349 yards and 4 touchdowns last year in this matchup. Grapevine will receive the ball as we are underway here Friday night in Grapevine, Texas. Grapevine fields the ball at about the 15 and tripped up at about the 23, where that return will stall. That's Luke Stewart that was on the return. And so the Grapevine offense will come out. Starting offense for Grapevine, Jalen Holmes, quarterback, 32 of 53, a 60% completion rate for 288 yards. So looking for his first touchdown throw of the season. His running back, sophomore, we talked about him in the pregame show, Jake Graham. Wide receivers, Brody Hunter, Rylan Gowen, Luke Stewart. We'll see Brady Kays at tight end. Offensive lineman from left to right, Jackson Rakisha, Andres Garcia, Will Mason, Hunter Lux, and Tayden Sneed.
Got a two-back set here with Cooper Towery and Jake Graham in the backfield.
And I have a feeling we're going to probably see a little bit of that tonight here as you get your best players out on the field. Jalen Holmes, a little bit of a hot potato snap there. He's able to corral it and maybe pick up about one.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about pregame with the snap. The snap looked all right. Jalen Holmes maybe a little too fast. Wasn't quite ready for it. But I will say it kind of just forces an improvisation play right off the bat.
It's a little bit of that chemistry, right? I want to let you all know that our first quarter is brought to you by Stacy Furniture. And again, our title sponsor tonight, Grubbs Family of Dealerships. With Jake Graham to the left of Jalen Holmes, 3 receivers to his left. And immediately wants to get out to the numbers, and it's, oh my goodness, smacked down at about the 23-yard line. Looks like that was on the catch, Ramin Zhao.
Yeah, what a job by Zhao getting the ball, catching that ball with the strong hands and not letting the play get blown up. DB was there to make the play. That throw was coming from that far hash. So that's about a 15-yard throw just for a little screen. So, yeah, corner was able to break on it.
Yeah, it is definitely making your quarterback work there. So now it's 3rd and 8 for the Mustangs. And then Jalen Holmes keeps it, rolls out to his right, takes a hit, is able to get to his receiver, and it's dropped by Rylan Gowen. Credit, though, on the coverage of the Cougars. That was A.J. Jorez out there towards the perimeter.
A.J. Jorez had the nice shoestring tackle on the kick return. It looked like Grapevine may have had a lane to return it on that first kickoff. He made that nice shoestring tackle.
Yeah, well, we talked to head coach for Arlington Seguin, Joe Gordon, who praised about A.J. Jorez, who's been flying around and making a lot of plays here lately for the Cougars. So now Jalen Holmes lines up to pump this one away. And it's fielded about the 48, and excellent punt coverage by the Mustangs. We talked about special teams going to play a huge factor here tonight. And that tackle made by Luke Hecht. We called his name a couple times last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And good job by Polk there, hanging on to the football there. Didn't quite call the fair catch, but good job hanging on to the football after taking quite a hit.
So now it's the Grapevine defense that comes out, and starting lineup goes as this. Their defensive line, Lucas Manderville, Cedric Hicks, the star on that defensive line, along with Jack Cockrum. We'll also see a combination of Jaron Butts Jr. as well. Linebackers, Harrison Barkey, Tatum Evans, Luke Gormley, Cooper Towery. In the secondary, Dalen Collins, Linnell Randolph, Maddox Broyles, and Jalen Carson. Got the interception last week. And it's carry on that left side, and it's going to go for about 7 yards. That's Kadarius Trotter, the cowbell running back for the Cougars.
Yeah, not a bad play to start on first down, 5-yard run. Seguin looking to get the running game going early.
Trotter, the lead running back for the Cougars, coming into tonight's game with 60 carries for 397 yards, averaging about 6.61 yards per carry, along with 4 touchdowns. So that brings up actually 2nd and 5 for the Cougars. And again, Trotter's able to break through the second level of the defense and brought down at the 34. Good for a first down.
Yeah, Luke Hecht coming on the field for one play while Jalen Carson went to the sideline to get something get an ankle taped up, something to look at. But hey, good tackle.
Yeah,
saved a touchdown.
14-yard gain for the Cougars. Kadarius Trotter coming off a game where he had 2 touchdowns last week against Burleson. Starting quarterback for the Cougars is Chevy Andrews. Started last year. And it's a carry up the middle, and Grapevine was ready for it. And yeah, you guessed it, Cooper Towery in on the tackle. Actually, no, I take that back. That 8 and that 0, they always mix you up a little bit. It looks like it was actually a combo of Cooper Towery along with Tatum Evans.
Yep, yeah, and we'll see that a lot tonight in that linebacker crew. Very synced and sound. High football IQ between those 4.
Yeah, speaking of that football IQ, we talked about it last week. The average SAT score of this linebacker crew is a 1,250.
Yeah, not bad at all.
2nd down and 10. Cougars, 2 running backs out there. In motion is Trotter. And they want to give it out to Trotter. And Trotter, able to break a couple tackles, keep the feet moving, is brought down from behind. It's going to be short of about 1 from a first down. Linnell Randolph with the tackle.
Yeah, nice 3-on-2 drill by the Seguin receivers there, getting a hat on a hat to block for that screen. But something to note with that Grapevine defense is that they're rallying to the football. Kind of force them in a 3rd and 1 here.
So with that, Grapevine has an opportunity to put the brakes on this Cougars offense. And the Cougars go into an I formation. Man, that brings back some old football memories. Chevy Andrews under center. Handoff up the middle to Trotter, and Grapevine's there to greet him. And he will be short of about a couple.
Yeah, I think this was big Jaron Butts Jr. popping off the film, number 44. He's able, his first step, he's already past the line of scrimmage. He's an explosive, and you see it on film. He's got the size.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we saw that a lot last week. Really stands out there on the field. So now the kicking unit for the Cougars. Oh no, they're going to actually try to fake it up the middle, and Grapevine was ready for it, but it's actually broken tackles, and the Cougars end up scoring the first points of the night. Jonathan Polk there for the trickery and touchdown for the Cougars. On what was a 27-yard run on the fake field goal, Polk goes ahead and lines up under center, gets the snap. It looked like Grapevine was there to meet him, but he was able to break a couple tackles and score.
Yeah, it looked like he initially was going at the point of attack right down up the middle, bounced outside.
So now look at that. The Cougars all of a sudden want to go ahead and put 2 points on the board instead of 1, and they go ahead and do that. We saw actually that last week. They have no problem going ahead and trying to get 2-point conversions instead of going for the easy extra point. And so now with that, Grapevine has a score of 8-0 that they are up against right now, and with 7:22 left in our first quarter. So Grapevine had an opportunity, and with that opportunity they had on that 4th and about 2, all of a sudden you see Arlington Seguin, they want to go ahead and fake that field goal and then get off that monstrous run there by Polk.
Yeah, it wasn't the longest drive, but it's almost as if the Grapevine defense was a little surprised by the fake, but I don't think they were. Chevy Andrews, the Seguin tried to run it right up the middle. He was able to bounce. The quarterback was able to bounce it outside and get those yards.
Well, and here's the thing, Drew, and that play too. It's almost probably hard to even just find Polk with that much of a mass of bodies there in the center of that play. You kind of lose him a little bit in space, and again, when he's able to break off a couple tackles, it's going to make it even extra harder to bring him down.
Yeah. By the time you find him, he's already kind of through the second level and heading towards the end zone. So it's kind of a touchdown save and tackle at that point.
So for the Cougars, that was a 6-play drive that started on their own 48-yard line after the 3-and-out that they caused on Grapevine. Finished off with a 27-yard touchdown run off the fake field goal by Polk. So it's Luke Stewart that fields at about the same spot he did the first time, and about the same results. Brought down at the 17-yard line. There to greet him was A.J. Jerez, who right now is playing a phenomenal game, not only special teams, but also on defense.
Yeah, he's all over the field to start this first quarter. You'd like to see the returner there kind of just run north-south there. Both these returns have been a little east-west action, allowing these players to kind of leverage and funnel him in and not allow much yardage game, not past the 20 here.
Well, we talked about the speed that the Cougars will have, and absolutely they are showing that on special teams, offense, and even defense for that matter too, all phases of the game. So now it's Ty Johnson. Actually, I apologize, that's Jalen Holmes still, and it's on the option play. Luckily, Jake Graham was able to scoop it off the turf. Friendly bounce his way, and Grapevine will maybe pick up about a yard. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it looked like your simple option play. Jalen Holmes couldn't quite get it to Jake Graham, but Jake Graham was able to pick it up off the ground.
Yeah, you know what, actually, apologies there. That was Cooper Towery, who they like to flex into that offensive packages every once in a while. Try to get the ball to him out in space. Just no luck there, and now Grapevine goes ahead with the substitution. Now Jake Graham is in the game. So that brings up 2nd and 9. Holmes in shotgun. Makes the handoff. Wants to go to Luke Stewart. Luke Stewart catches it and gets down to about the 40-yard line. Looks like he might have lost the ball, but I think that's already when he was down. Nice play there on that RPO we talked about in the pregame show.
Yep, nice easy slant route that really gets some extra yards after catch there. That's just good, so good for the offense. Get good confidence for Jalen Holmes. He put it right on the money in stride, allowed Luke Stewart to get some extra yards.
That was a 21-yard reception for Luke Stewart, who was the leading receiver for this Grapevine crew, coming into tonight's game with 9 receptions for 134 yards, averaging 15 yards a catch, along with 1 touchdown they had against Birdville. Now it's Jake Graham along that right side, being patient, able to get around the corner, break a couple tackles, and picks up a 13-yard first down. Talked about Jake Graham, how hard it is to bring this guy down. Coach Smith talked about it last week, where he likes it where players can hit Jake Graham along that hip area, because you know if you're going to go in that area, Jake Graham, if he is brought down, is definitely falling forward.
Yeah, and you got to wrap up if you're on the defense. You can't expect to run into collide with him and expect him to go down. He'll just bounce right off of that like bumper cars.
That first down for Grapevine brought to you by Pat White State Farm. So now it's 1st and 10 with 5:50 left in the first quarter. Best Grapevine drive so far in the early part of the game. And Jalen Holmes actually keeps it himself. It was nice trickery there, what looked to be Cooper Towery with the ball instead of Jalen Holmes, and he's able to pick up about 2.
Yeah, good job by Jalen Holmes getting some positive yards there. It looked like the D-line was already kind of in the backfield. Jalen Holmes kind of nifty spin move there. Make sure it's not a loss of gain, so keep this offense moving forward.
It almost looked like if Cooper Towery had the ball, maybe he was going to go for more, but at the same time, too, maybe the defense knew he didn't have the ball, but it looked like he had a lot of green grass in front of him, too, once he got outside on that fake handoff.
Oh, yeah, they'll look back at that and maybe see if they can do that later.
2nd and 8 for the Mustangs. Holmes has time, but the reason why, there is a whistle and a flag on the play. It looks like they will bring this back due to a false start on Grapevine. Unfortunately for the Mustangs so far this season, the theme of the year, there's been a couple things, but one of them has been penalties. For this season, they are averaging about 60 yards in penalties so far in the early part of the season, with a season high at 85 yards against Birdville, in a game where they actually did beat Birdville as well. Holmes has time. As a receiver, it's deflected at the line of scrimmage and innocently falls down to the turf.
Yeah, it looked like Jalen had some numbers there. Receivers were running some intermediate routes, trying to get just some yards past the 50, but good job by D-line tipping that pass.
It did look like there might have been a window there for a second to have that receiver, to your point, Drew, crossing over the middle, but credit that defensive line for the Cougars. Looking at their starting lineup, it's Caden Lewis at the defensive end position, of the nose guard, Davian Carter, and on the other end position, Adrian Contreras. And Caden Lewis, by the way, has already committed to Colorado State University in Pueblo. And it's a hot snap, and Jalen Holmes lets it get by him. He's able to corral it, and now is trying to just gain back whatever he lost, and he's staying up, but he's still brought back and that's going to fall down at the 47-yard line, which will now cause Grapevine to punt the ball away. And you go back, Drew, to what you talked about in the pregame show, and I think it's just more repetition and chemistry and live game action in order to try to get this thing corrected.
Yeah, you could call it pregame jitters. I mean, like we were talking about early in the game, they were definitely had some snap issues last week, and yeah, they're trying to nip that in the butt for sure.
Jalen Holmes with the punt, and it will dribble in favor of Grapevine, and they'll let this one run down. Smart play by Rayming Zhao as he downs it at the 11-yard line. So Grapevine, at least, will get good field position on the defensive side. And we'll take a quick break here with 3:52 left in our first quarter between Grapevine and Arlington Seguin. Our score 8-0 Arlington Seguin. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
And you're not burning money.
Bring you back to Mustang Friday Night. That play that Arlington Seguin just ran, Grapevine was ready for. It was a run up the middle, only good for 2, so it's 2nd and 8 upcoming. Just mentioned how Grapevine defensively has good field position here as this drive starts at the 11-yard line, now at the 13. It's, again, Chevy Andrews, the starting quarterback for the Cougars, a transfer from Keller Central a couple years ago. Grapevine coming with the blitz. Up the middle is Trotter. It's Cooper Towery in on the mix. And a gang tackle by Grapevine is going to bring up 3rd down.
Off the field. And on these 3rd downs, this is where you want to get off the field.
Yeah, it's going to be key here for Grapevine. You go back to that time where Grapevine had that opportunity on that last drive. Did get the key 3rd down stop, but it was a fake field goal that was the backbreaker. So now it's 3rd and 8. Grapevine lines up in the 3-4 front. Jaron Butts Jr. at that nose tackle position, along with Cedric Hicks. And also Blake Johnson. It's a pass out to the perimeter, and Grapevine was ready for it. Tatum, Evans, Cedric Hicks in on the tackle, along with the rest of the gang there.
Yeah,
get the key stop.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Grapevine defense. With a little receiver screen on the outside, funnel hit back to the rest of your guys on the inside, and limit the explosive shot plays.
Well, we talked about sure tackling, and hey, listen, if you bring more people to the ball, better chance for you to bring that ball carrier down. So Grapevine gets the 3 and out, and the Cougars will line up to punt this one away. It's Oscar Lopez. And Luke Stewart is at the 45-yard line of the Cougars side for this punt. Oh no, Cougars are going to actually go ahead and fake it. It's special team galore for the Cougars. Now, there is a flag on the play. The Cougars did pick up the first, so let's see what the call is on the field. And so for Grapevine, they catch a break here. I know Grapevine fans were like, wait, hold on a second. Penalty that went in our favor? What? Hello? Come on? Yes. That is exactly what happened here for the Mustangs. So a holding call will actually bring this back and eliminate the 1st down conversion that the Cougars had. But, I mean, my goodness, you talk about the Cougars playing with some house money here tonight.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised with that go for it. And heck, you can't let them off the hook here. You know, you can't think that they'll just punt it away.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen much of a fake punt this far deep in someone's side of the field. So anyways, with that punt, Luke Stewart will field this one, and he's going to get a great return and knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So Grapevine now cooking with something.
Yeah, that's just as good as an interception if we're talking field position. You know, about a 15-yard punt. The punt went further, but with the return, they're already in the Grapevine's already in the red zone setup. So interesting to see how this offense kind of plays this right here. being in the red zone right off the bat.
Well, for Grapevine, too, do you take that a little personally?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, well, with that being said, Grapevine's got a golden opportunity to get back in this game down 8-0 with 1:18 left in the first quarter. That's Jalen Holmes still at quarterback. We'll see if there's a rotation between him and Ty Johnson like we've had before. And then Jaime Sanchez has nowhere to run. Great tackle made by Michael Jackson of the Cougars.
Yep, running down the line by Michael Jackson, down the line of scrimmage, and making that play.
So Cedric Hicks is actually coming into the game, and some people might be like, well, that's not a surprise. Cedric Hicks is going to make sure to get a lot of playing time on defense. Well, this is on offense, and it looks like he's going to be at that tight end position on that right side of the line. Coach Smith has talked about throwing in some different looks, trying to basically stay 2 games ahead as far as the film work that the other team might have on Grapevine. So it's Holmes that fakes it and then gives it off to Cooper Towery. And I think there might have been a face mask there, but there's no one that's throwing a fit about it. And in that case, Cooper Towery will be brought back for a loss.
Yep, a little double option there, you could say. Fake the handoff to the one running back and then give it off to Jake Graham there. Looked like was able to get hands on the shoulder pads, not quite on the face mask there.
So a little wrinkle as we're seeing from the Grapevine offense, and that brings up a 3rd and 13 as the clock ticks down to 3. And Grapevine will go ahead and let the clock finish out and complete our first quarter with our score 8-0. Arlington Seguin leads here at Mustang Panther Stadium. We'll take a short break and then we'll bring you the second quarter as you are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
And we welcome you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where it's Mustang Friday Night on Tradio. Mason Doherty along with Drew Doherty, former wide receiver for the Grapevine Mustangs. We're Grapevine down 8-0, but in a golden opportunity here to try to get back in this game. I want to let you know that this is actually the second week of District 3 5A Division II play for the 2025 season. Other teams in that district playing tonight, Mansfield Summit and Burleson, they're tied 8-8 in the first quarter, along with a key matchup here between Colleyville Heritage and Mansfield Timberview. That Mansfield Timberview has a solid defense. They had it last year, and they sure enough have it again this year. They are down, though, 7-6 in that first quarter. And then the last game here in District 3 is Everman versus the Colony over at the Colony, where the Colony leads 13-0 in the first quarter. So now it's 3rd and 13. Holmes drops back, has a wide open running back. It's Jaime Sanchez, and Jaime boulders his way down to the 1-yard line. Sanchez was wide open, and Holmes saw it immediately.
Yeah, great play design there to get your athletic players in space to make a play. Just catching the ball and turning upfield, putting the foot in the ground and getting as many yards as you can. And now you got it inside the 5. You got those big guys. Is that Cooper Towery coming into the game there?
Absolutely it is. It looks like a little hockey shift change here for the Cougars. It was a 24-yard catch by Jaime Sanchez. So it's 1st and goal from the 2. Cooper Towery on that left side lowers the shoulder pad, but is stopped right at about the line of scrimmage as the Cougars were ready for it. You got to think for the Cougars prepping for this week's game, they know that Grapevine likes to put Cooper Towery out there in these situations. It was Deshaun Maribel, the linebacker for the Cougars. That's their star linebacker with the tackle. And there's a call. And it looks like it's actually on the Cougars here for an illegal substitution, Drew.
Yeah, maybe one too many players on the field.
There was
that substitution that they had going on.
It was a late substitution. Had a lot of players coming on the field right before Grapevine snapped it. And so in that case, that avoids the play that we just saw there. And now Grapevine, again, with a 1st and goal from now about the 1. And it's a run up the middle for Cooper Towery, and he's in. Touchdown, Mustangs. Cooper Towery, the star linebacker, but also on offense, the star offensive player too. Oh, you know what? Actually, I apologize. I take that back. That 8 and that 9, they all look the same too. That's actually, of course, Jake Graham, which makes a lot of sense with a run up the middle like that. The toughness that he possesses, you saw that on that play. And the extra point is up, and it is no good. So the special team woes on the kicking side again come back to haunt Grapevine. A lot more time to play, of course, with our score 8-6. Arlington Seguin leads. We'll take a quick break here. 11:29 left in our second quarter. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Can't get enough. Hey, just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Hey, just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
Mustang Friday Night is proudly presented by the Grubbs family of dealerships.
And we bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where Grapevine inches his way back into this ball game, down only 8-6 now early in the second quarter. That scoring drive for Grapevine started on the Cougars' 21-yard line thanks to the 3-and-out. And the Cougars tried to fake the punt to get the first down, but a holding brought that back. So Grapevine had great field position. As this kickoff looks like it's going to go out of bounds. That'll be a penalty on Grapevine, but it was a scoring drive that was 4 plays and was finished off by a 2-yard touchdown run by Jake Graham.
Yeah, the two-headed powerhouses at the running back. And can't forget Jaime Sanchez's nice reception to take him down within the 5-yard line. So that offensive drive was led by their running backs.
So with that penalty, the Cougars will most likely get pretty good field position here, depending on how this all shakes out on this penalty of the ball going into the end zone. But it looks like actually they might be just re-kicking.
Yeah, it looks like Seguin may have decided to let them re-kick and see if they can't get a return here.
But Drew, you go back to that point of almost kind of like the disrespect in a way.
Yeah.
Where the Cougars now twice have faked it, one on a field goal, one on a punt from their own 13. That's got to get into the mindset of Grapevine.
Yeah, and that's why that last offensive drive was so key for the Mustangs to get some points up on the board. And to start the second quarter, they flipped the field, had to go down there and got the job done.
So it's Cade Moreland, the specialist at the kickoff position, kicks it away to the 20-yard line. And it's going to be returned to that 35, up to the 40, and then pushed out of bounds. Returning that was Cariel Brown, also known as Baby C. His big brother, Carterius Brown, is now catching passes for SMU, who's the star wide receiver for the Cougars last season. And he had a great game, actually, against Grapevine last year, where he caught a total of 173 total yards and 3 touchdowns against the Mustangs last year.
Yeah, I want to shout out Dalen Collins there on that, keeping contain on the left side, keeping it from a bigger return than it could have been.
Yeah, Dalen Collins, a very athletic corner for Grapevine. So now it's the Cougars, and oh, look who it is to smack them right at about the line of scrimmage. It's Luke Gormley. Luke Gormley pinned his ears back and made the big tackle. So you see here, Luke Gormley able to shore up the ball carrier, completely gets his arms all the way around. That's how they teach it, Drew.
Yeah, wrap up. You like to see that. That's what they're coaching, and you like to see it on the product, on the field, on a Friday night.
Chevy Andrews under center. Fakes the handoff, play action, pressured, and Grapevine's there to greet him. It's Cedric Hicks. For Cedric Hicks, that is now his 3.5 sacks for the 2025 campaign.
Yeah, way to get in the backfield by Cedric Hicks there. And just not letting the quarterback have much space or much time at all to make any sort of play there. And you know what? Sets up a 3rd and long here, kind of a tone setter for this defense to get them a little ramped up.
Harrison Bargy back on the field. Yeah, that play action, Drew, I mean, it takes time. And if Grapevine is able to dot its I's and cross its T's with those receivers, for Chevy Andrews got really nowhere else to go.
Oh, yeah, that was a short coverage sack.
3rd and 14 for the Cougars. Andrews wants to get out of the pocket and then goes on and gives it over to his receiver and immediately tackled down by Cooper Towery.
Yeah, fundamental open tackle here by Cooper Towery.
It was Gabe Sanchez that caught the pass over on the side of the field, and Cooper Towery able to get sideline to sideline, as we've seen many times this year, able to play big there.
Hitting that thigh board right there, jumping at him and making sure to lay a big enough hit to where he's not able to get any more yards there.
So now the Cougars line up to punt this one away, but there is no guarantee that they actually will punt. But I think what might help in Grapevine's case is that this is a false start. So back at 5. And now, I mean, if you're Grapevine, maybe you can put a little bit more money towards the bet of, yes, they actually will punt this one away.
You would think, yes.
Yeah, the house says punt.
Mm-hmm.
Lining up to punt this one away for the Cougars is Oscar Lopez, the junior. Luke Stewart back to field this one. And it is a punt. Spiraling punt. Goes over the head of Luke Stewart. It's going to dribble down towards the goal line and actually does cross over. The Cougars almost coming up with a key special teams play there to try to pin the Grapevine Mustangs offense back towards the goal line. In this case, though, it is a touchback.
Yeah, great effort by the Cougar special teams there to try and get that ball pinned, but just ball was rolling a little bit too fast for them.
So for the Mustangs, they scored on their last drive that they had. Finished off by a 2-yard touchdown run by Jake Graham. It's 4th touchdown of the season. Only a sophomore. Had some experience last year as a freshman, but really taking it on as that cowbell type of running back for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and absolutely. Week by week, you can see the confidence growing. So that's going to continue.
So it's Holmes. Hands off to Graham on that left side, and Graham's able to get around and bulldozer his way to the 42-yard line. So Jake Graham coming off a season high last week against Everman, where he had 20 carries for 123 yards and 1 touchdown. He's going to try to break that here tonight, it looks like, too.
Yeah, a little read option. Jalen Holmes looked after handing the ball off, looked the other way to his receivers to kind of fake a screen. Just that half millisecond to get those linebackers to come on that side. Allows that lane for him.
So it's 3 receivers to the right for Holmes. Graham still out in the field to his right. It's a low snap, but off to Graham he goes, and Graham's only going to pick up maybe about 1. And you have to think sometimes with that snap being low, Drew, as you talked about before, it just delays that play by an extra second, and unfortunately sometimes that's all that matters.
Yep. Leads to a little bit of improvisation, even on run plays. Blocks are maybe not quite developed yet. But Jake Graham, he did a good job of making it positive yards, kind of a little Le'Veon Bell patience there after getting the ball, trying to find a lane and get some close yards.
So Ramin Zal, he comes out off the field, and Rylan Go in 2. Jaime Sanchez in. And staying on the field, too, with them is Jake Graham. Now, there's a late substitution for Grapevine. Brody Hunter comes off the field. And it looks like here just a little bit too much movement. This one looks like to be called on the Mustangs. It'll be a legal substitution. Now both teams guilty of that. We'll back it up 5. So for Grapevine, it's all about trying to stay out of that penalty box. And unfortunately, you go back to that questionable holding call from last week. Also a pass interference call that pretty questionable too. Trying to play a cleaner game for the Mustangs. 2nd and 14. Jake Graham wants to cut up the middle, but runs into a pile of Cougars. And they were ready for it. Adrian Contreras leading the charge on that defensive line front.
Yeah, it looked like a kind of an initial running back sweep, kind of get to the outside on the right tackles, get right behind him. Kind of saw a lane in the middle and took it up, but Cougars defense there to clog it.
So Brady Kays comes back on the field. Raming Zhao, Brody Hunter. This time getting those substitutions in early. With the play clock at 14, got time. Holmes in the pistol.
Single coverage on the top of the screen over there.
And Holmes keeps it, and he is buried right about the 21-yard line of the sack. Credit the Cougars sniffing that one out. That sack by Deshaun Maribel, the stud linebacker for the Cougars.
Yeah, it looked like Cougars defense was just able to get a good jump on that little rollout action. Jalen Holmes is looking to get out on the run to the outside to get that throw off. Did not have quite enough time.
Yeah, Deshaun Maribel, Coach Gordon says he's the type of linebacker that plays downfield and very fast. You saw it there. So now Holmes going to pump this one away. A little bit more of a line drive punt, and actually hits the behind of Luke Stewart. And smartly, the Cougars try to field that one, because even if you fumble it, it's okay. The Cougars will still maintain the ball. That was Jonathan Polk on the smart play. But in this case, though, the Cougars will start with good field position anyways at the 48-yard line of the Mustangs.
Yeah, very heads-up play, kind of in that chaos. The other sideline was probably saying, Oski, don't touch it, alert, alert, alert. But good football IQ play there.
I wonder what all kind of goes down as far as calling out what that plays or what that type of motion is going to be. I've also heard Peter before.
Peter,
yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of a few different ones. So with the Cougars, again, they will start with great field position. As it looks like the Cougars will line up with that formation we've seen a few times here tonight with two running backs, but Chevy Andrews will keep it. Wants to go big to his receiver, and it is caught at the 1-yard line. That was Jonathan Polk able to come down with it and trip himself up down at the 1 for a 47-yard catch right down towards the goal line.
Yeah, Chevy Andrews showing his ability to take the top off the defense, and you like to see that stepping in the pocket on no other than Jaron Butts Jr. right in his face, taking that throw, stepping in the pocket, and throwing a dime.
So now the Cougars looking to punch this one in, and they have their options in the backfield with their two running backs out there. And it's going to be Trotter up the middle, and it's a touchdown for the Arlington Seguin Cougars on the 1-yard run by Jadarius Trotter. So the Cougars, just 2 plays, answer right back, and we talk about the explosiveness that this team has, the speed, and especially Polk, who already has a touchdown run on that fake field goal and then that big passing play too.
Yeah, heck of a play on both sides, heck of a catch, heck of a throw. And then, the urgency to get back on the ball and score in that second play while the defense is still kind of figuring out what's going on there.
So the Cougars will line up for this extra point. They did go for 2 last time and were able to be successful. And the Grapevine, what looked to be almost a blocked extra point, Cedric Hicks was able to penetrate through the line, but in this case, Oscar Lopez was able to still get it through the uprights, and there is a flag on the play. Not sure what the call is, as both squads run off to the sidelines. So you have to think it's not going to make too much of an impact of what we just saw. And it's going to be actually personal foul on Grapevine. And for Grapevine, you have to try to stay away from these moments. I know Coach Smith has made that an extra point of focus these last couple weeks about eliminating those 15-yard penalties. We saw it last week where they threw one on Jake Graham after a questionable call that, of course, angered the Grapevine Mustangs. But those emotions, at some point, you got to keep those in check.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say, I maybe think they have the the defenseless snapper rule there. That's why Grapevine was able to get such in the backfield, almost block that. I'll have to see it again, but they protect the long snappers too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely. So for Grapevine, they're going to try to answer back here, down 15-6 with 5:55 left in our first half. Again, we mentioned how that drive for the Cougars started on Grapevine's 48-yard line. and only 2 plays it took for Ladarius Trotter, the star running back for the Cougars, to punch it in 1 yard out. So with the Cougars off that penalty, now going to kick the ball, such a wacky situation here, going to kick the ball at the 45-yard line of Grapevines. And in this case here too, Drew, you would probably think they're just going to onside kick it.
Yeah, you could keep it on the ground, probably go about the same distance. A little hot potato action for the receiving team.
So with that, Lopez, it's actually a little pooch here, and Luke Stewart fields it cleanly. He's got a lane and lowers the shoulder and gets brought down at the 27. So actually, for all that looked to be, and for Grapevine, it was actually not a bad outcome.
Yeah, not at all. And good job by Luke Stewart getting the ball and just getting positive yards right there, especially when you're on the verge and maybe getting backed up on a kickoff like that. You want to go north-south, and good job in putting his offense in a good position here.
So for Grapevine's head coach, Ryan Smith, his first year coaching for the Mustangs, officially 1-2 so far. His first year actually head coach in Texas high school. Last year was offensive coordinator / quarterback coach for East Texas Baptist University. He's also had experience as an offensive coordinator for Midlothian Heritage in 2002, of course replacing Bob DeBez, who was 6-14 in his last 2 years. So it's Holmes on the option, pitches it out around the corner. That's Cooper Towery, but credit that speed. A.J. Jerez, we've called his name a few times here tonight. Very athletic for the Cougars, making that tackle.
Yeah, that's on the defense, that's a play where you got to keep to your assignment on that option. Someone's assigned the quarterback, and someone's assigned Cooper Towery, the running back there. And a good job by Jalen Holmes, kind of reading it and getting that ball out when it needed to. Not too early, not too late. Not a bad first down play, but even better defensive play by the Cougars.
Yeah, we've seen that play a couple of times now on the option to Cooper Towery. So 2nd and 7. Javi Sanchez up the middle, breaks a tackle. He's got running lane, and he is brought down for a first down all the way up to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, a couple chunk plays from Javi Sanchez tonight, trying to just get this offense going and across the 50 and get some points up.
Javi Sanchez, 13-yard gain for a first down. Also that first down brought to you by Pat White State Farm. Our second quarter brought to you by Compass Church. Javi Sanchez coming in tonight's game, 21 carries for 82 yards this year. About 4 yards a pop, along with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and you got to like to see that, him hitting the hole and just going up the field, getting to that second level, and forcing a tough play on the defense.
And really drive that foot there to get upfield. So Holmes in the pistol, keeps it, nice fake, gets outside, he's got room, and he will safely run out of bounds. Kind of does a nice little cartwheel, and brought down at the 43-yard line. Good for another Mustang first down.
Yeah, it's one of the better, well-executed RPO run plays tonight. Defense thinking they're handing it off to the running back. Jalen Holmes keeps it himself and relies on his blocking on the outside. Good job by the receivers there, keeping their blocks and allowing just to keep moving forward and set it down.
It was a 15-yard run for Jalen Holmes. Carry on that right side by Javi Sanchez, throws out that stiff arm, powerful stiff arm at that, and then runs safely out of bounds. Another first down. There is a flag, though, on the play. Might be coming back.
With those outside runs, that's what it takes.
Yeah, so it looks like that is a hold, and that would bring that nice first down conversion would look to be back for Grapevine.
But this is one of those things, opportunities for Grapevine offense where, it's first down, you got the penalty, backed up. All right, have some adversity. And how are you going to respond? So that's going to be important here. Obviously you want to cut out those penalties, but you don't want them to be drive killers. You want them to, all right, you got it, keep moving forward.
That brings up 1st and about 17 for the Mustangs after that penalty. It's actually going to be a pass out to the perimeter, and it was to Luke Stewart. But credit to that Cougars defense there to make another stop, as was A.J. Jerez, who you have to think is probably the defensive player of the game so far for the Cougars.
Yeah, he's all over the field, special teams, defense. A good job by just being there without being too much there.
Yep.
What I mean, no pass interference, just playing the receiver, playing the ball, and well executed there.
He's got plenty of experience. He's a senior for this Cougars defense that is averaging, giving up 215 yards per game, along with 84 yards through the air. Now that brings up actually 2nd and 20. Holmes draws back, has time, now pressure, rolls to the left. Has a receiver. Oh, it was Jaime Sanchez. There for a second, it looked like he had him, but it was going to be tough there as the Cougars were converging in on Jaime Sanchez. That ball was just a little bit behind him.
Yeah, it's a tough throw for Jalen Holmes on the run. I like the IQ of Jaime Sanchez there. It was a little swing route. He realized that it was going to be a little bit of a scramble drill. He turned it into a wheel route, went upfield. So, yeah, I call that ball that Jalen threw a 1 ball, kind of fast. Needed to be a bit of a 3 ball kind of lead there, but I like the idea.
Yeah, Jaime Sanchez earlier in the game actually led to that 2-yard touchdown run by Jake Graham. He had that 24-yard reception that brought it down to about the 2-yard line. So now it's 3rd and 20. With 4:07 left in our first half. Holmes has a receiver. Oh, no, it looked like it might have been in and out of the hands of Rylan Goen on that crossing route.
Yeah, he looked like he had him. Could have had some maybe extra yards. Still a lot of work to do after that, catching the ball. Yeah, it looks like the Grapevine punt team's coming out.
Now Holmes out to pump this one away. Field this one for the Cougars. It's going to be Jonathan Polk. Good protection for the Mustangs on this punt. And that ball, oh, nice punt there by Holmes with the friendly roll down to the 8-yard line. And that's where the Cougars will take over with 3:53 left in the first half, up 15-6. We'll take a short break. We'll come right back as you are watching Mustang Friday night on Tradio.
American Power. Texas Drive. Classic Chevrolet. #1 in the world. Limited time. A special selection of new Chevys. More than anyone. All priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we bring you back to Mustang Friday night from Mustang Panther Stadium. That run by the Arlington Seguin Cougars was from Kadarius Trotter, able to get 3, but there is a penalty on the field, and this might be on the Cougars.
Both teams are going to be looking to get this laundry cleaned up in the second half.
Yeah, I feel like we've been saying that a few times this season so far. So it's a personal foul, hands to the face on Grapevine. So that now will be a 15-yard penalty, second one tonight as far as the 15-yard range against Grapevine. I mean, we're talking to Coach Smith. He has said here a couple of weeks now where they are calling it extra tight here this season in the early going.
Yeah, they really are. I must say they're nitpicking a little bit. And Grapevine's kind of just getting the brunt end of it with these 15-yard penalties here.
Trotter in motion on the right to carry up the middle for the Cougars. Eventually making that tackle is Maddox Broyles, but not before an 11-yard gain for Isaac Bly. His brother is starting on the secondary for the Cougars. Type of running back that, according to head coach Joe Gordon of the Cougars, really complements Trotter well. He's off to an unbelievable start this year, and more that type of running back that's going to run in between the tackles as you saw just there.
Yeah, this young offensive line for the Cougars has really kind of planted their foot here in this first half with running up the gut there. Not going up against a very tough D-line and linebacker.
Yeah, and for the Cougars, too, they only have one returning offensive lineman from last year. Grapevine was ready for that run, though. It's only going to be maybe a gain of 2. Making that tackle for Grapevine was Lucas Manderville, the defensive end, who had a really good spring/fall camp. Coach Smith really likes his measurables at 6'3", 230 pounds.
Yeah, good job by Manderville getting in the backfield there.
Absolutely. It looks like there's an injury on the field on the Cougar side, so we'll take a break here with 2:42 left in the first half. Our score 15-6. Arlington Seguin leads here at Mustang Panther Stadium. as you are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
And you're not burning money.
And we bring you back to Mustang Friday Night on Tradio with 2:42 left in the first half. Grapevine down 15-6. As the injured player for Arlington Seguin was offensive lineman John Harding, junior left guard. And Drew, you mentioned about it, speaking of the offensive line for the Cougars. It's a young squad, but Coach Gordon was talking about how well they are coming together because they had a veteran group last year, and of course, people graduate, and you got to replace those, and they're in the process of doing that right now. Yep, absolutely. Well, it's that 2nd and 8 for the Cougars with 2:36 left in the first half. Andrews drops back, wants to go deep on that left sideline. It almost coming up with the nice one-handed grab, but also looks like there's going to be a penalty. It was Jonathan Polk almost hauling that one in, and that one might be a little bit of a questionable pass interference as well, as Coach Smith out there is irate. Yeah, it's Dalen Collins who looked to have good coverage there. And they are going to call pass interference on him. The transfer from Louisville, and Coach Smith still wanting an explanation here. Dalen Collins known for his physicality and also staying to the hip of the receiver. But in this case here, gets burned on the pass interference call. So now it's 1st and 10, and it's a swing pass out to Trotter. Trotter breaks the tackle and then pushed out by Cooper Towery, but not until Trotter picks up 12 for a first down. In this case, it's actually on the Cougars too, if you believe it or not. Yep, if you're a Mustang fan. So in this case, it's going to bring that ball back. And yeah, you said it early on. There's a lot of laundry on the field, and I mean, we're now into week 4 where you're thinking hopefully some things are getting cleaned up here, but so far this season, we've seen it being called pretty close. So that brings up 1st and 20 with 2:22 left in the first half. It's Andrews, hands off to Trotter up the middle, and he's brought down by Luke Gormley, the leading tackler for the Mustangs, coming into tonight's ball game with 34. Yeah, 14 tackles last week against Everman. More of that lunch pail kind of guy along with Cooper Tower. I mean, you can really say that about this whole entire linebacker crew that Grapevine has.
2-minute timeout.
So we get to that 2-minute moment here for the first half where we'll take a break, and we'll come back with more action to finish off this first half. 15-6 our score. Arlington Seguin leads. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
And we bring you back to Grapevine, Texas at Mustang Panther Stadium. I'm with Drew Doherty, former wide receiver for Grapevine. I'm Mason Doherty. For the Arlington Seguin Cougars, they are led by their head coach Joe Gordon, who's entering his 9th year coaching for the Cougars. 27-50 overall record. His best start in program history was last year, where this team was 5-0, and so far this season 3-0. So maybe trying to challenge that. Second down and 12. It's the I formation for the Cougars. We've seen that a handful of times so far tonight. And Andrews keeps it. Wants to go deep to his receiver, Polk. And a little bit of miscommunication there for that incompletion.
Pass intended for Joe Gordon is incomplete. It's third down. Cougars.
One fly.
So now it's 3rd and 12 with 1:56 left in the first half. Grapevine has an opportunity to come up with a key stop here. But keep in mind, the Cougars will get the ball to start the second half. Cougars in the eye. Andrews under center. We've seen some play action from this formation here, but they're going to go ahead and pitch it out to Trotter, and Grapevine is there to meet him in the backfield. Cedric Hicks getting on the action. Tayden Sneed, Luke Gormley, you name it, they're probably there, along with Jaron Butts Jr. too.
Like he's going to go blitz up the middle, goes outside, keeps that running back from going outside, keeps him in. Heck of a play by Luke Wormley, doing the little things right there.
Great contain here. So there's a timeout that's called on the field, and we'll take a brief one ourselves here with 1:43 left in the first half. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Can't get enough. Just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
And we bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where right now it's 4th down for the Cougars, and as we speak, they do line up to pump this one away with 1:47 left in the second quarter. And it's Polk, who looked like he was going to think about maybe taking off with it, but instead he gets off the rugby punt, and Grapevine will start this drive on the 22-yard line. Can't be too sure of things here with that Cougar special teams.
Yeah, it almost seemed like he was just trying to dial some clock down, but you wouldn't imagine the 141 with plenty of time left. But, you know, hey, keeping the defense, keeping the return team guessing. So,
yeah, Grapevine's got 2 timeouts left here. I'm sure offensive coordinator for Grapevine, Derek Sides, is maybe licking his chops here, seeing maybe a possible opportunity. He's a wide receiver coach, also for Grapevine, former coach at Loyalty and Heritage. So now into the game is Ty Johnson. First time we're seeing Ty Johnson here tonight. And it's a handoff to Graham on the right side. Oh, it looked like he might have had a short window there for a quick burst, but credit the Cougars there making that initial tackle.
Heck of a play. I believe that was Keith Hoffman on the tackle, and on a tough Jake Graham hitting the thigh board and making enough contact to where he wasn't able to get any more yards.
Yeah, Jake Graham, 5'8", 180-pound senior, a big, strong kid, tough to bring down, but credit to the Cougars defense for doing that. And then it's Jake Graham again, and then immediately as that play was off, there is a, yeah, you guessed it, another flag. Yeah, ref was itching. No kidding. He must have clearly saw something from the top of the defense. And we'll see what the call is. This might be on Grapevine with the way that the ref is looking over at head coach Joe Gordon on what he wants to do. Maybe in the vicinity of a hold. They're still kind of looking over and see what they want to do. Here we go. So it is holding on Grapevine, and Cougars will accept and bring it back 10. with 1:09 left. And the clock is running. And Ty Johnson getting his first action of the night. We've seen that all season so far as far as the rotation between him and Jalen Holmes. Johnson rolls to his left, size downfield. And, he had Ryland Goen, not for much because Goen's momentum was going to take him out of bounds, maybe at about the line of scrimmage, but just wasn't able to come up with that catch.
Yeah, now you're looking at a pretty long third down here. Grapevine's going to have a decision to make here whether to run the ball. Or stay aggressive here. With Cougars getting the ball in the second half, maybe you think, stay aggressive here, get the first down.
Well, Grapevine goes into that stacked wide receiver formation. We've seen that a few times this season. Here on the near side, it's Ryland Goen behind Luke Stewart. Ty Johnson in the pistol. And it's actually a handoff up to Jake Graham, and he runs right into the teeth of the defensive line of the Cougars.
Cue that Cougar timeout.
Yeah, that was Micah Bolden who took the brunt of that run by Jake Graham. Jake Graham looks like he's kind of holding his elbow there a little bit as he walks off the field. And yeah, so the Cougars, looks like they do get a timeout in with 50 seconds left. We'll keep it right here as it looks like obviously Grapevine will look to punt this ball away unless they want to mimic what the Cougars did earlier in this game, trying to punt from their own 13. But for Grapevine, I mean, you're obviously in this ball game here 15-6, but you're going to give the ball back to the Cougars who, I mean, even though 50 seconds left in the first half, they do have the explosive players to keep you on your toes.
Once again, we bring up the third of the game, and when I say the third of the game, I'm talking special teams. You really want to get off a good punt here, back them up. Don't get them in any kind of field position where they can, score on one or two plays. You want them to have to grind. You want the Cougars, that is, to grind out an offensive drive to wind down in the second or first half.
So Jalen Holmes comes out to punt this one away. He practiced punting a lot in the pregame warm-ups tonight. It's a high snap. He's able to bring it down and line drive punt. And it's fielded. Risky business here. And actually about the 45, possibly late hit, but it looks like the refs will not call this one. Luckily for Mustang fans, it was Polk that returned the punt. Man. That was pretty close.
Yeah, that's where I always kind of talk about, I think it's very important on which sideline the hit is on. Who knows if that's on the Cougar sideline, that flag may be thrown,
Are you saying that the bench is going to throw a little bit of a different reaction?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I kind of like when a receiver starts pointing at the ref saying, hey, he's, pass interference, stuff like that. But Grapevine looked out there.
So the Cougars will come out with 41 seconds left. This is a Cougars team that lost 22 seniors last year. We mentioned about a young offensive line, but they did bring back some star power here. And it looks like there's a little bit of commotion here going on down in the field.
Yeah, it looked like there was a flag on the Cougars that's going to bring the Grapevine offense back on the field possibly.
So what a turn of events here with another flag that was thrown very late. Out of nowhere, and then for Grapevine, lucky enough, it's actually going to be in their favor, so now the Mustangs will come back out with 41 seconds left instead of the Cougars. And it's Jalen Holmes that comes back on, along with Jaime Sanchez.
Yeah, quite a turn of events there.
So with that being said, they got three receivers stacked on the near side, and finds his receiver, Luke Stewart, for a gain about 5. And that clock is running as we tick under 30 seconds left in the first half. See how quick Grapevine, once it gets to the line of scrimmage, to get off another play.
You're gonna have to get downfield.
Holmes pressured, wants to go deep down the middle. He's got a receiver, Luke Stewart, but unfortunately his throw just about a couple of yards in front of him for an incompletion. Luke Stewart had been licking his chops. He had a break on the defense.
Yeah, he did. Right? He got over the top, behind the defense. Jalen Holmes, not quite enough air under that throw. The pocket was collapsing on him, so he had to get it out. But I like the aggressiveness.
Well, that was one of our keys to the game, hitting on those explosive plays through the air. And Grapevine tried that a handful of times last week. Coach Smith brought that up about, hey, we were close on a few of those. I mean, if you go back to that game, he said about 5 plays make the difference from the score being 12-7 to 28-0 in favor of Grapevine. So Holmes drops back, wants to go to the right sidelines. And I was about to say, if that other play was pass interference, that surely was too, and it looks like that will be the call.
Yeah, like a baseball umpire. You want it to be consistent on both sides. You want the strike zone to be called evenly on both sides there.
The
They got him.
intended receiver was tight end Brady Kays, and it was Deshaun Maribel, the linebacker, in coverage. So Grapevine now on the other side of the field at the 48 with 8 seconds left. They do have 2 timeouts. We'll see how they handle this. As they are getting closer to Austin Schilling's range. His longest kick this season is 30, but he was kicking it from about 42 yards in pregame and definitely had the length.
I like something in the middle of the field with those 2 timeouts.
Holmes has time. Gets it out to the flank. It's Sanchez. He's got to make sure to get out of bounds. And it looks like he will. But the clock ran out to 0, and Coach Smith is asking for 1 second left. Looks like they might have let that clock go a little bit too far. And the Cougars are happy with the results as they want to run out to the locker room right now, but there is a discussion. I thought there was 1 second left.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe there was.
It looks like there might be 2 seconds.
And then you get these Cougar players running off the field. They're going to have to come back.
They're going to have to do some suicides here. Touch the locker room and then come back maybe. But no, it looks like actually the refs are going to say the clock is now ticked down to 0. And Coach Smith really wants an explanation here because it really did look like there was about 2 seconds left. He is not happy about that end result. And Coach Smith now talks to the other referee towards midfield, pointing up at the scoreboard, pleading his case. And again, it looked like Grapevine definitely had about a couple seconds left there. And who knows where Jaime Sanchez was. It possibly gives you an opportunity to kick a field goal with Austin Schilling. But with that, Coach Smith throws down the headset a little bit there in disgust. We'll go ahead and close out our first half with our score 15-6. As we get to our halftime, brought to you by Chill, get to hear the Grapevine Band, and we'll come back, do a little recap, and get you ready for second half between Grapevine and Arlington Seguin, where the Cougars lead 15-6 here in Grapevine, Texas. You are watching Mustang Friday night on Tradio.
call it the big time. She's got your name in lights. Now you're gonna shine. Got them in your
The dancing are Captain Don and Pippa, First Lieutenant Amelia Crowder, Senior Lieutenant Gracie Hopkins, Junior Lieutenant Everly Johnson, and Junior Lieutenants Lucia and Olivia Roscoe. Philly Social Officers are President Caroline Loomis, Vice President Haley Lynn, and Social Officers Aubrey Cunningham, Corey Halbert, and Lydia Myers. And this week's Spirit Girl is Caitlin Saylor and her partner Raven Saylor. Rookie of the week is Alexa Burdick and her partner Daniel Burdick. And our Philly Honor Girl is Caroline Loomis and her partner Dave Loomis. This week's Steve of the Week is Jeff Connor and his partner, Maisie Connor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Grapevine High School is proud to present the 2025 edition Mustang Band would like to send a special thank you to our sponsor, Zach American Cancer Society's Calibrated Fall, Costa Rica, Pizza, Queen's Barrier, Clean Super Center, Mixer 1 2 1 Robinson Organized, thanks again to our sponsors, our community and administration, for your continued support. And as always, go Mustangs! We'd like to give a huge shout out to Feed Store Barbecue for sponsoring rounds of programs. You can get Feed Store's delicious barbecue sandwiches snacks available at the concession stands on a variety of other tasty treats. Welcome back to Field, your Mustangs.
We welcome you back to the second half here on Mustang Friday Night, presented by Tradio, our title sponsor for tonight, Grub's Family Dealership. Get you caught up on some first half stats before we jump into second half play. So far tonight for first downs, Arlington Seguin 5, Grapevine with 9. Total yards, 128 for the Cougars, 114 for the Mustangs. 63 of those 128 for the Cougars in the air, while 60 yards passing for Grapevine. Rushing here tonight has been about the same, 65 yards for the Cougars and 54 for Grapevine. Penalties have been quite a story, as you would imagine. 4 for the Cougars, totaling 37 yards, while for Grapevine, 10 penalties, totaling 87 yards. We talked about that a lot in the first half, that being a prime focus for the Mustangs. That's already past their season high of 85 yards against Birdville. Going down to the individual stats here before we jump into the second half. Chevy Andrews, he's 4 of 5 for 63 yards, while Jalen Holmes is 5 of 11 for 60 yards as well. Ty Johnson 0 for 1 on passing. Jake Graham, the leading runner for both teams here tonight, with 7 carries for 31 yards, and did have that 2-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. So he has 1 touchdown here tonight. While Kadarius Trotter, the starting running back for the Arlington Seguin Cougars, he's got 9 carries for 30 yards, including a touchdown. And Jonathan Polk on that fake field goal, that 25-yard run, he also has a touchdown as well. Receiving tonight, Jaime Sanchez leading the crew for the Mustangs with 2 catches for 34 yards, including that 24-yard catch and run down to about the 2. And then on the Cougar side, Jonathan Polk leads 2 catches for 49 yards. We'll keep a watch out for those stats here in the second half. Drew, what have you noticed so far as we get started here in the second?
Well, running through those numbers, they're very matched. Total yards, rushing yards. You look at the score and you understand why it's, close game. But like you said, it goes back to those penalties.
And for Cade Moreland, key kickoff right here, as Coach Smith has repeated up to us for the last couple weeks, that he likes Cade Moreland at that kickoff position. He has a powerful leg, and we saw it there. The Cougars were not anticipating that kick to go that long, so that result in a touchdown.
Yeah, he got the boot behind that one and in the end zone, and going to set the Cougars back at the 25-yard line and get this defense ready to go.
So 15-6 our score. And Grapevine was driving down to end that first half, but unfortunately, according to the referees, the clock ran out. So it could have been possibly a late field goal attempt. Grapevine shows pressure. And Trotter on that left side breaks a tackle, cuts up field, and then brought down from behind by Tatum Evans. Tatum Evans, who has plenty of experience at that defensive end position back in 2023, now one of the star linebackers in this linebacker crew of Grapevine, 6'2", 215-pound senior, coming into tonight's game with 19 tackles.
Yeah, Luke Wormley had a shot at him, wasn't quite able to wrap him up. Was able to get a couple extra yards there.
So it's 2nd and 3. For Grapevine, only down 15-6 against an Arlington Seguin team who has plenty of talent. You got to feel good for a Mustang fan You know that Grapevine definitely sells an opportunity here, but Trotter able to cut up field, make a man miss, and brought down at the 46-yard line. Good for a first down.
Yeah, Trotter there hitting it up the gut. I don't think he was touched. I think he didn't get contact till about 10 yards down the field. Cooper Tower there on the tackle, making sure it doesn't get bigger than that.
It's a 19-yard gain for Trotter. Got a 16-yard touchdown run last week against Burleson, junior. Already up over 400 yards rushing for 2025. And Chevy Andrews wants to keep it, has an open receiver caught at the 45. Nice catch made by Kayon Miki, his first catch of the night.
Yeah, good throw, good catch. Way to keep your feet in bounds and controlling the football there. And good job by Chevy Andrews on the run, getting it to his guy.
Yeah, Coach Gordon praised about Chevy Andrews. He's a leader and also spent a lot of time this summer fine-tuning his mental game and IQ. First and 10. It's a rush up the middle, and there to meet him is Tatum Evans. It'll be about 3rd and 1. The rush was by Isaac Bly. He's quite the track star, along with his brother, we mentioned before. Starts on the secondary for the Cougars. So it's going to be 3rd and 1. We've seen Grapevine already come up with one of these stops back in the first quarter.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine the way the Cougars have been aggressive on offense. This is 4-down territory for them. That's what we've seen. That's the pattern.
You got Jaron Butts Jr. at the nose tackle position, along with Cedric Hicks and Blake Johnson. Rush on that right side by Andrews. Great fake. Gets around the corner. Be a first down. Now there is a flag towards the end of that play. Pushed out by Linnell Randolph. And it's going to be holding on the Cougars. So what would look to be an easy first down conversion. Credit to Andrews, who does a really good job deceiving with that football, faking off those handoffs, keeps it himself.
Yeah, break for the Grapevine defense there. Looks like they may have gotten a hold on the right tackle there, trying to seal the edge. Cooper Tower, I believe it was, rushing behind, trying to get in the backfield quickly. Kind of outran the right tackle and kind of forced the right tackle to kind of stretch his arms out.
So now it looks like it's 3rd and 4 now. Cougars quickly get to the line of scrimmage. 7 seconds left on the play clock. Down to 2. They get it off. Andrews back to pass. Has receiver on the flats and caught right at the 40. Good for a first down. 7-yard catch. Nice pitch and catch there by the Cougars. The reception made by Chase Anderson.
Yeah, good design by the Cougar offense there, getting their playmakers in open space. Dalen Collins was in the vicinity. Looked like he was playing a bit of a zone, trying to keep the offense in front of him, but first.
8:58 left in the third quarter. Andrews keeps it again, and nice tackle. Looked like that could have gone for a lot more, but Luke Gormley had other ideas.
Yeah, once again, this linebacker crew keeping everything in front of them and not allowing big plays, big chunk plays. Yeah, that's a big tackle there, because if it gets, that's missed tackle, he can take it to the house.
He definitely can.
With the speed of Chevy Andrews.
He definitely has speed, especially once he gets outside to the numbers. But Luke Gormley, the 6'2", 220-pound senior, one of the stronger, if not best tackler on this defensive unit. Now we're down to 8:20 left in the third. 2nd and 7. Carry on that left side to Trotter. Cuts back upfield, but meets Tatum Evans right as he thought of maybe trying to squeeze out a couple more yards, but Evans was able to bring him down immediately.
Yeah, that goes back to one of our key points of the game. Just doing your job. These linebackers, when they're doing their job, it makes everybody else's job that much easier. And Tatum Evans there, being able to clog the hole, get off that block by the running back, and get the ball carried.
Well, you can see why he has experience at defensive end. He's got quite a lot of size there, that interior linebacker position at 6'2", 215 pounds. And he's very well balanced too when he's making that initial hit.
Yeah, that's a great point. He's got good, quick arms. He can punch the blocker, create that separation, and whichever way the ball carrier is going, toss him aside.
So it's 3rd and 6, and I think the Cougars want to talk it over. So we'll take a short break here and come back with 7:27 left in the 3rd quarter. Our score 15-6. Cougars lead here in Grapevine. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Grapevine cheer.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family,
and you're not burning money.
Welcome you back to the 3rd quarter, brought to you by Classic Chevrolet here in Grapevine, Texas at Mustang Panther Stadium, where Grapevine is defending now a 3rd and 6 down at the 37-yard line. Andrew draws back the pass, pressured, has an open receiver, and it's, oh no, it's actually dropped. There for a second, it was caught by Kayon Miki, and Grapevine gets a break. Yeah, I mean, credit the art here of that play, the wheel route that caught Grapevine off guard. And Miki, he catches that ball. To your point, Drew, he's hit pay dirt.
He kind of had it.
So now the Cougars are facing a 4th and 6, and they're going to keep the offense on the field.
He's wide open.
You got Trotter on the right, Deshaun Ware on the left of Andrews. The 7th play of the drive. And actually, we're going to get a delay of game on the Cougars, and we'll see if that changes up what they plan on doing on this 4th down. It's like Dallas Carter in Friday Night Lights. So actually, the Cougars go ahead and will go for it, and heaves it downfield, and it's incomplete. Excellent play by the Grapevine defense. Galen Collins, Linnell Randolph with the play. Yeah, perfect timing. And the intended receiver is Jonathan Polk, who I believe is down on the field right now. Kind of got sandwiched there between Galen Collins and Linnell Randolph. Talk about Collins being a really physical corner. Then you also have Linnell Randolph coming in and making the hit as well, a returning starter from last year. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a break and come back as Grapevine will take over with their offense with 7:15 left in the 3rd quarter. Our score 15-6 Cougars lead here in Grapevine. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Radio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Mustang Friday Night is proudly presented by the Grubs family of dealerships.
Back to the 3rd quarter, brought to you by Classic Chevrolet, our title sponsor of the dealerships. 7:15 left in the 3rd quarter. Jonathan Polk still down on the field, but is sitting upright, so that's encouraging to see. Looks like Coach Gordon, the head coach of the Arlington Seguin Cougars, is still pretty upset with, well, I would imagine, he's looking for a call, and I'm guessing if he is looking for a particular one, maybe head-to-head contact. I mean, Drew, you pointed out, it looked like perfect timing on that play defensively.
Yeah, I think it absolutely was. It's hard to call a pass interference on a bang-bang. Either way, it's such a bang-bang play. Yeah, I wonder if coach is looking for maybe defensive receiver there, but I gotta say, I think Grapevine secondary was playing the ball. That's how you not get called those pass interference. That's how you avoid them.
Yeah, we mentioned about Dalen Collins was in on that hit. And the funny thing about Dalen Collins, too, is Coach Smith said this. He comes off, if you look at him, undersized, but he's such a good corner because his technique is very solid. He's a transfer from Louisville, a junior, and he plays technically sound and with great leverage. And he can also be such a crash unit, too, according to Coach Smith, and we saw it on that play.
Yeah, he's just one of the 11 that are in sync on this Grapevine.
So Grapevine will take over with Jalen Holmes at the quarterback spot. He's taken over all these drives except for one. That's Jake Graham out on the field. And it looks like there was a mix-up here. It's going to be false start, actually, on Grapevine. We mentioned about Grapevine already with 87 yards in penalties, which is a season high, and I know Coach Smith will not be liking that.
Yeah, for Jalen Holmes in the offense, keep saying he can't turn these 5-yard penalties into drive killers. Sure, they can be drive stallers, but keep moving the ball, stick to the game plan. It's early in the second half, keep being aggressive.
So Jaime Sanchez comes out along with Jake Graham staying on the field. Grapevine wants to get their two best running backs on the field at the same time. 1st and 15. Cougars bring pressure, pitch it out to Jaime Sanchez, and the Cougars have that all wrapped up. Key tackle made by Deshaun Maribel. We've called his name a few times tonight. He's the leader of this defense, according to head coach Gordon.
Yeah, that's a kind of a tackle a leader makes on this defense. He's able to get off, avoid any kind of block, get directly to the ball carrier, and get a good hit on him.
So that brings up now 2nd and 20. Holmes wants to go deep. Miscommunication and almost intercepted. That was A.J. Jerez, who was almost fielding what looked to be almost like a punt for him, as he was the only man around in order to make that interception.
Yeah, another one of those miscues, miscommunication by the quarterback and receiver. The receiver felt like the secondary had over the top, was going to cover the deep route. So the receiver decided to shut it down. Jalen Holmes already had the ball out.
Yeah, the biggest explosive play for Grapevine through the air so far tonight has been their running back, Jaime Sanchez, that caught that 24-yard pass in the second quarter.
Yeah, we've seen this offense rely on their screen game as well.
3rd and 20. Holmes flushes out to the left. As a receiver, and just over the head of Rylan Goen. And he was near the sidelines. It would have been a little bit of a tough of a grab, but might have been a little bit easier for him. The ball was just a little bit closer to where he was at.
Yeah, I would say this is the Grapevine offense is just to kind of take a deep breath a little bit, take what the defense is giving you. You had him, but hey, something to look back on for the next drive.
Jalen Holmes lines up to punt this one away with 6:30 left in the third quarter. Gets it off cleanly. Line drive punt. And two Cougars run into each other. But fortunate enough for them, they were able to field that punt miraculously. It was Cariel Brown, also known as Baby C, that was able to hold on to that ball. Man, that was scary. Now you see Baby C now talking over to the coaching staff. Surely got into some miscommunication.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a major league, some baseball outfield, right center. It's the center field's ball. You got to call for it. My ball, my ball. Not quite the situation there, but fortunate to come down.
Well, you mentioned, Drew, about playing a little looser. It seems like right now there's some tense moments. And again, that was something Coach Smith was talking to us this week about, that balance of playing loose but also playing locked in. And that's Trotter on that right side with the stiff arm and able to break a couple tackles before being brought down near the 50 by Tatum Evans. But as I was talking about what Coach Smith was giving us information about, that playing loose but playing locked in. He went back to week 1 against Frisco Wakeland, where he thought the team wasn't loose enough, but they were locked in. until they loosened up later in the game, and that's when Grapevine was starting to catch a little momentum. Against Birdville, they had a healthy balance of both and equal the win. And then, as we mentioned before, last week they were a little too loose, and there might be some more of the penalties come into play too. So it's a pass out to the flats. It's caught this time by Miki, but credit to the coverage by the Grapevine defense. That was Cooper Towery, who is known for that sideline-to-sideline skill set that he has at that linebacker position.
Yeah, and Maddox Broyles as well, running after him at the sideline, making sure just get a hold of him, making sure he doesn't cut that one loose.
So 5:33 left in the third. Our third quarter brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. We're at Mustang Panther Stadium. Nice crowd here tonight. A few of the Arlington Seguin fans showed up too. And play clock looks like it's down to 5 seconds, and we're going to get a timeout, but it might have been a referee timeout instead. And I think that's what's going to happen. So none of the teams have to sacrifice, or in this case, Arlington Seguin does not need to sacrifice a timeout here. And they'll reset the play clock to 20 now. 2nd and 7. Andrews wants to go deep to the left side, and nice coverage there towards that sideline. As that was Judah Johnson, who had that game-sealing interception against Birdville a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, consistent player in this Grapevine secondary. Great coverage there. Kind of not allowing the quarterback. He couldn't really put it anywhere. Couldn't lead him. He was right on his heels. And the back shoulder throw is not there as well. So good coverage and big third down here on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, Grapevine likes to rotate Judah Johnson and Linnell Randolph at that corner position. Both physical corners. So 4:58 left in the third. Trot on that left side. It runs into a wall of Mustangs. Kieran Butts Jr., Tatum Evans, there to make the stop.
Yeah, you can't hold them back for too long, and that's Jaron Butts Jr. Look at this jump right here off the ball in the backfield, right past the center. Able to clobber up the running back and set up this offense for a 4th down.
Coach Smith raved about Butts Jr. This week, who also is a junior too. He talked about his intensity that he had. He actually won the Intensity Award last week. He was a recent move-in. He considers him a big teddy bear with that big size that he has. So in this case, actually Arlington Seguin will go ahead and fake it and pick up a huge gain down inside the red zone. Again, special teams. That's Ladarius Trotter that took the direct snap and cut it up the middle. And again, a key conversion for the Arlington Seguin Cougars on special teams.
Yeah, I really think you have to keep this in mind, going forward, and even here, that they could possibly fake it because they're at the 50-yard line. Definitely if it's 4th down territory on the 50-yard line, and it was like it was on their own 10, it's a possibility. So you got to keep your eye out there.
Head coach Joe Gordon of the Cougars not afraid to risk it, and we saw that a lot in the first half, and sure enough, we see it again. And then it's a carry up the middle. Grapevine was ready for Isaac Bly on the carry. We've seen him get a handful of snaps here tonight with 3:30 left in the third quarter. But yeah, Drew, you are right. I mean, for Grapevine, you definitely have to stay alert no matter where the Cougars are at on the field.
You have to have the mindset that they're not punting. You really do. You have to have the mindset that they're going for it. And if they do punt it, just make sure the balls get, nothing crazy happens. They'll turnovers, recover the ball, catch it. But yeah.
Late substitution for Grapevine. It's Isaac Bly again. It cuts up field, and he gets down to the 5-yard line. Good for a 1st down. It's going to be good for a 12-yard gain. Isaac Bly, a little of that, more of a shifty type of running back. Again, complements Trotter very well, the junior. Now having back-to-back carries for the Cougars offense. Now it's going to be 1st and goal from the 5.
Okay, fine. Defense going at the bend, don't break here. Get some energy.
For the Cougars, it's Andrews in the shotgun. It's carry up the middle. Cedric Hicks came out of nowhere to make that tackle. Now credit the ball carrier for the Cougars to keep his momentum going. That carry was made by Isaac Bly again, and he'll come off the field. And he's brought down at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, Cedric kicks at him. Was able to get behind the line of scrimmage, kind of stop his Isaac Bly's momentum. But as I said, Isaac Bly kept his feet moving and got him down to just about the 1.5 to 2 yard line.
The 2nd and goal from the 2. That Grapevine defensive line, Jaron Butts Jr., nose tackle, Cedric Hicks. Quickly lining up to the line of scrimmage is the Cougars, and Cougars will punch this in for a touchdown. Ladarius Trotter with the 2-yard carry in for a touchdown. And for Trotter, that's his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Yeah, Cougars there with kind of a heavyweight formation there. Two about, tight end fullbacks, H-backs, blocking.
So for the Cougars, we'll see what they want to do here. I mean, anything's on the table with this special teams. There is a flag on the field. Not sure, maybe there wasn't a call at all. I mean, with the way that these flags are flying out, sometimes they probably just naturally fall out of your pocket at this point.
Yeah, they've got to tuck it in.
From the last time. Yeah, exactly. So in to kick this extra point is Oscar Lopez. Ball is spawned, kick is away. And it is good. So our score now, 21-6. Cougars lead over the Mustangs with 1:44 left in the 3rd quarter. Come back after this short break. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Radio. And we're bringing you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where Cougars lead actually now 22-6. Keep in mind the extra point that's not updated on the scoreboard. And that was a scoring drive that started on their own 38-yard line, and then flash forward 7 plays, and it's a 2-yard touchdown run finished off by Kadarius Trotter.
Yeah, Cougars doing a good job on that last drive, moving the chains, getting in kind of a good rhythm in terms of passing the ball and running it. Good balance.
So Lopez kicks us off to Luke Stewart. Luke Stewart trying to find a lane, and he's tackled at about the 35, so a decent return there for Grapevine to start this next drive. So let's see who starts the drive at quarterback. We've seen Ty Johnson once so far towards the end of the first half.
Yeah, there's going to be a sense of urgency with this Grapevine offense. You can run the ball with these talented running backs that they have: Jake Graham, Jaime Sanchez, Cooper Tallery, Dylan Foster. But you're going to have to get the ball in the air and make some connections with the guys on the outside.
So it is Jalen Holmes, along with Jaime Sanchez to his right. 1:39 left in the third. Riley going in motion. They're trying to get the ball to him all game. Holmes to Luke Stewart. Had to go down and get that one. Let's see if he caught it. They're going to say it's a catch, and looks like it is just enough, I think, for a first down. Oh, no.
It's going to be the back judge that's going to make that final call. Ref on the far side, he first called it a catch, but the back judge had a better view on it.
And that's what I was looking at, too. That sideline judge was originally saying catch, but to your point, Drew, that back judge had other ideas. A couple times we've seen it where Holmes likes to throw that slant over to Luke Stewart, and the first time it went for about 20 yards.
Yeah, that ball just kind of hits him in between the numbers there. Not much defense, a lot of open grass to see there.
So now it's 2nd down and 10, and Coach Smith again, very frustrated at what he's seeing down on the field, and I think he was able to squeeze in a timeout right before the play clock hit 0. I don't know if Coach Smith is going to have much of a voice after tonight. And with that, we'll go ahead and take a break ourselves as Grapevine does get that timeout in with our score 22-6 with 1:27 left in the third. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
American Power, Texas Drive, Classic Chevrolet, #1 in the world, limited time, a special selection of new Chevys, more than anyone, all priced below market value, plus pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium. Our score 22-6. Grapevine facing a second down and 10. And Drew, you mentioned about it. That slant play was absolutely there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Grapevine tries to go back to that at some point. So Holmes hands it off to Jaime Sanchez. It didn't matter who he handed that ball off to. The Cougars swarmed in and made that play from the jump. So that breaks up a 3rd and long. 12 yards to go for the first. Jaime Sanchez behind Holmes in the pistol. And Holmes keeps it. Wants to go deep and then is ragged down, but it looks like there's going to be face mask. So Grapevine might catch a break here as Holmes tried to stay up as long as possible, and in the process might have had his face mask pulled. And that is the call. So Grapevine, I mean, you want to talk about breaks, because it looks like the Cougars had everyone locked up in the secondary. Holmes didn't really have much to go with that, but the way he was tackled gives them a break. So now it's 1st down and 10. Look at this formation here. Almost like in a diamond set there. The receivers on the left, but now Sanchez in motion. And it's back to Brody Hunter trying to get the offensive lineman out there in space. We've seen that play be successful for Grapevine in the past, but again, the Cougars with their speed able to get out to the perimeter and bring him down. Yeah, it's quite a thriller. And then with that, as the end of the third quarter with our score 22-6, Cougars lead here at Mustang Panther Stadium. We'll come back with fourth quarter action as you are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family,
and you're not burning money.
And we bring you to the fourth quarter of this matchup between Grapevine and Arlington Seguin. It's District 3 5A Division II game. Second week of district play for District 3. Grapevine facing a 2nd and 8. Receivers bunched up on the near side. And it's Cooper Towery who shoots through the gap and is able to make a man miss, and down to the 35-yard line, he is spun down.
Yeah, you could just tell that Cooper Tower brings that different pace. He's got the speed, the strength, and he took it to the outside, and, you know, to be kind of a guy you wouldn't want to go up and tackle. He plays middle, he plays a linebacker on the other side.
He is an explosive player for sure. Coach Smith has talked about trying to limit his touches just because he plays both ways, obviously, but sometimes you got to utilize the Swiss Army knife as much as possible. As we are just into the fourth quarter, Holmes is pressured and then just tries to do all that he can to get back to the line of scrimmage, and I believe he did.
Yeah, Jalen Holmes thinking a little too much there on that play. Kind of was hesitant on handing the ball off to Cooper Towery. Maybe saw a route, you know, a slant route available. A little too late on the decision making there.
Yeah, it looks like on that play too, they kept Cooper Towery out there. As now Grapevine's faced with a 2nd and 10. And Cooper Towery still out there on the field. Coach Smith likes what he sees. Fake the handoff to Towery. Holmes has 2 receivers, and it's caught. No, it is dropped there at the last second. Rylan Goen temporarily had that ball in his hands. There was tight coverage on the play by the Cougars.
Yeah, good job here, taking the read, reading off the safety, taking the shot. Put it where it needed to be in that double coverage, just in that window. Tough play, would have been a tough play to come down. But yeah, nice play by Jonathan Polk.
Cario Brown.
Cario
Brown, yeah, Baby C just in on that play. But yeah, I mean, it almost looked like there was 2 receivers that Grapevine could have gone to. So now 3rd and 10, 10:45 left in the fourth. And it's a pass over the middle. It's almost intercepted. Interception almost made by Bryson Green over the middle. As we mentioned, the Cougars had 2 interceptions last week. Both of them were Deshaun Mariville that made that happen against Burleson. And they pitched a shutout too, winning 21-0. It's a tough defense to go up against as it brings up 4th and 10, and the Grapevine offense will stay on the field.
Yeah, it's an athletic defense these Cougars have. They can play man, zone, with the speed and the athleticism.
So it's Holmes in the shotgun. Jake Graham to his right. Holmes rolls out, pressure, and then throws over to his receiver, and it's caught at the 25-yard line. It's going to be close to that first down marker, and they're going to say it's just short. And I would say maybe just short by a yard at that. Credit Holmes to buy time, pressure from the get-go on that play, and it was Luke Stewart on the catch, but again, about a yard short.
Yeah, great effort by Jalen Holmes and Luke Stewart bringing down the catch, just a yard short of the sticks. You know, that's a tough play to kind of know where you are. You know, it's not a hitch route, run it, turn around, catch the ball, but yeah, just a yard short.
So Arlington Seguin will take over the 26. Grapevine brings the heat, and it gets the initial hit on the ball carrier, and then Tatum Evans wraps up eventually. That pressure was originally caused by the outside linebacker, who, number 32. Unfortunately, we actually don't have a name on our roster.
Well, I want to highlight number 32
yeah,
here.
Absolutely.
He really set the tone on this play, getting in the backfield, kind of just messing, kind of causing a little bit of chaos in the backfield and allowing Tatum Evans to come in and finish the job.
So now that brings up 2nd and 10, just under 10 minutes left in the fourth. It's a carry up the middle, and Grapevine is there to make the stop immediately. Making that tackle in the backfield was Luke Gormley, who's having himself a heck of a night.
Yeah, he's getting that tackle count up, continuing to show why he's the team leader in tackles for this Grapevine defense.
Yeah, he came into tonight's game at 34. You have to imagine he's well over 40. So it's 3rd and 12, and this would be a huge stop for Grapevine, trying to get back that momentum and try to force this 3 and out.
Yeah, not much time spent on this drive, so
We approach 9 minutes in the I formation, or the Cougars, and the Cougars run right into the teeth of the Grapevine defense.
Guess who?
Excellent stop there by Luke Gormley. And Luke Gormley is there to fire up his sidelines and let them know, hey, the Mustangs are still here to play.
Yeah, you absolutely love to see that if you're the Grapevine side. The defense standing strong and going to give their offense another opportunity to kind of get just one score, one play at a time for this Grapevine offense.
Now, hold on here. Anything can happen with this punting crew that the Cougars have. And Grapevine has to be aware of that by now.
Yeah, I believe that's Luke Stewart on the return. I'd say, hey, just make sure. Okay, it's off.
Oh, fields it cleanly as Luke Stewart, and a nice tackle immediately by Cariel Brown. And so Grapevine will start this next drive at the 41-yard line. Jalen Holmes, the quarterback, coming out again, as obviously he is looked to be the main quarterback for Grapevine tonight, with only seeing Ty Johnson once on a drive earlier. And Jalen Holmes, he's had some moments, and he's an experienced quarterback at that too, as he was the starter last year for the Mustangs.
You got man coverage across the board here.
There is a flag, might be offsides on the defense, and Luke Stewart with a nice grab, but definitely out of bounds. Coverage by Brian Ware. And it is offsides on the Cougars, and so we'll give Grapevine a free 5 yards there. And then credit Jalen Holmes. It looks like he probably even knew that too, reason for him to throw that ball.
Yeah, the classic Aaron Rodgers, as I call it. He was a master at that. Free play, take a shot. Looked like all the receivers were running kind of the same route there, kind of understanding, hey, free play, keep running the ball. So the offense in sync there for Grapevine.
Luke Stewart, who had that big 55-yard touchdown catch against Birdville a couple weeks ago, has the ability to take the top off the defense. Brady Kay's in motion. Holmes by himself wants to take off. Quarterback draw up the middle. Holmes, not an easy guy to bring down, lowers the shoulder pad and is able to pick up a few to bring it down to second and 1.
Yeah, I like the play call there. They're expecting kind of with this man coverage to keep these receivers on the lock, so that spreads out the defense the way these receivers are lined up, opens the middle of the field up for Jalen Holmes to take it. Quarterback draw.
Holmes, who is approaching about 100 yards rushing this season, already with 1 touchdown run. Still looking for that 1 touchdown pass. Second and 1, Holmes wants to go deep to the left sideline, and it looks like there might have been a tug of the jersey a little bit. Tight coverage, no call. That was Shelton Johnson in the coverage. Intended receiver was Brody Hunter.
Yeah, let's take another look here. Great ball and great positioning here by Brody Hunter. It's a little hand fighting from both sides. Yeah, I think he's pulling on that shoulder pad just a little bit.
Well, the
not
ref
going to give it to him.
And the ref was right there too. And he might have had a better angle at it compared to our instant replay here. I want to let you know our instant replay brought to you by Gray Mark Insurance. 7:31 left in the 4th. 3rd and 1. Holmes takes it himself. Quarterback draw again. And I think he's got just enough. It was scary there at first there for Mustang fans. But I think Holmes will go ahead and pick up this first down.
Yeah, it looked like there was a slight hesitation there on the quarterback draw, but he kicked it in gear, kept his feet moving, able to get that 1 yard for a first down.
Yep, they go ahead and move the chains. So Holmes, who Coach Smith describes as a phenomenal player, and has endured a lot. And when you say about that, it's about last season. I mean, last season obviously didn't go the way of the Mustangs, but he kept at it that entire year and did nothing about possibly losing the job at the starting quarterback position over the offseason, and is definitely a leader on this team as we see a carryover on that right side for the Mustangs. Able to pick up a few. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving at the end of that play, but the referees will not call a penalty. It was Jake Graham on the carry.
Yeah, you've seen how some of these Grapevine drives for the offense have kind of been extended by face mask and 15-yard penalties by the Cougar defense. So if you're the Cougar defense, you want to stay disciplined, make sure not to give Grapevine any more chances at this.
So for the Mustangs, it's 6:41 left in our ball game, down 22-6. The urgency will probably have to pick it up here in a little bit. And it's a carry up that middle, and Jake Graham, with that amount of force, always going forward when he's hit, is able to pick up a couple more after the initial tackle.
Yeah, you'd think Grapevine's offense had to get the play in quickly. Here comes Cooper Towery to join the offense on the field. Third down. So, you know, like you said, a little bit of sense of urgency in this Grapevine offense. But hey, get the first down and keep it moving forward.
Yeah, Cooper Towery, more of that switch of gears type of running back. Coach Smith likes to use him strategically, and we've seen him a few times here in the second half. We'll see if the ball goes to him. The 3rd and 3 upcoming. And actually, he's going to be a lead blocker instead, and the Cougars are able to bring that run down immediately. That was Jake Graham on the carry, so now it's going to bring up 4th down and about 5.
Yeah, Cougar defense able to sniff that play out and be able to run down the line of scrimmage and make the play.
Rylan going in motion there on the left side. As we mentioned, they've really been trying to get him going here tonight. It's 4th and 4. Might be just I was about to say, might just be the most important play of the night here. And Grapevine wants to go ahead and take a timeout and make sure to verify that they got the right play that everyone is on board with. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a break here with 5:15 left in our ball game with our score 22-6. Arlington Seguin leads. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Mustang Friday Night is proudly presented by the Grubbs family of dealerships.
And we bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium, where it's a crucial 4th and 4 for the Mustangs. The most important play of the night for them. And Drew, you were talking about how this could possibly be that slant play where Holmes likes to try to find Luke Stewart. But in this case here, actually, who's at the quarterback position is Cooper Towery. And Towery fakes the pass, keeps it himself, and the Cougars are there to meet him and bring him down short of the line to gain.
Yeah, tough time to kind of bring out that Wildcat offense that you really haven't seen all game. That is going to be their answer for this 4th down, but Cougars had it planned out and were able to stop the very athletic Cooper Towery.
Yeah, and credit the defensive play by Keith Hoffman, who was able to hold contain and bring down Towery for that key tackle with 5:11 left in the 4th quarter. Our 4th quarter again with a instant replay sponsor brought to you by Graymark Insurance.
Now, if you're the Grapevine defense here, the name of the game is going to be turnover.
Life moves fast, but protecting what matters shouldn't be complicated.
Give the ball to the running back, hold
At
up
Graymark
the run
Insurance,
back,
we make
and
home
allow
and
other
auto
guys, the
coverage
linebacker
simple,
crew, like
affordable,
normally come in there and try
and
to
built
strip the
around
ball
you.
out. You need a turnover.
Old-fashioned service,
Grapevine
uncommon
has
speed.
not received
That's the
those,
Graymark
a
promise.
turnover here tonight
Visit
so far.
mygraymark.com today and learn
again,
more.
the defensive
Again,
and
that's
linebacker front, that front 7 has had a lot of success here tonight for the most part from Grapevine, led there by Jaron Butts Jr. on that tackle. The big teddy bear, as Coach Smith likes to refer to him as.
Yeah, maybe not in between the lines.
Yeah.
He's a great player out there, and he brings a lot of physicality to that defensive line.
4:43 left in the 4th quarter. I want to let you know our title sponsor tonight is Grubbs family of dealerships. 2nd and 11. Grapevine only left with 1 timeout as well. It's Andrews, hands it off to Trotter, bounces outside, and tries to get around the corner, but it looks like there's 2 flags, and I think they might have both thrown him for the same reason.
Yeah, they're going to get a couple holds here on the offense.
So Trotter tried to get around that edge where Judah Johnson was trying to fight off his blocker. And I think in that process, that's where they called the holding on the Cougars.
Yeah, it's those outside runs where the the big guys, the left tackle, the linemen, they got to kind of keep moving their feet or else they're going to be reaching, and you're going to get called on that every time they see some jersey pulls.
So 2nd and 21. Clock now at 4:20 and ticking. You have to think the Cougars are just going to find some creative ways to keep the ball on the ground. And it's Trotter, cuts upfield, and nice, excellent tackle. That was Luke Hecht, who drove his feet and brought Trotter down.
Yeah, a little power drive tackle there. Check this instant replay. Good job by Trotter hitting the hole, but met by Luke Hecht there. And good job by Luke Hecht keeping the feet moving because he knows Trotter is too. So going to have to play with leverage, keep the feet moving, and move them back.
Yeah, Coach Smith refers to Luke Hecht as a hitter. Likes to get dirty in the box and stick his nose in it, as he just did. 3rd and 15, 3:28 left in the 4th. Andrews, what's the pass and the screen, and met immediately. An excellent play by the Grapevine defense. And again, I apologize, folks. Our official roster, again, does not have number 32 on there. We're definitely going to have to add that one for next week. But what a play by the Grapevine defense being prepared on that screen.
Yeah, they almost got the turnover they were wishing for there with that blowing up with the screen by number 32 there. Making a couple highlight plays on these last 2 defensive drives for Grapevine and, forcing another 4th down. And like we've been saying, you never know, but you think they're going to play the punt game here.
You would imagine so, but nothing's a guarantee. And so in this case, the Cougars actually will call a timeout to rethink some things over. Maybe think about, hey, do we do another fake? With 3:17 left in the ball game, up 22-6. We'll take a short break and come right back. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Can't get enough. Just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
And we bring you back with 3:17 left in the ball game here in Grapevine, Texas, between Grapevine and Arlington Seguin, where Cougars are trying to get off to a 4-0 start and maybe even try to match their 5-0 start that they had to begin the 2024 campaign, which was a program record for them. So line up to punt this one away is Oscar Lopez, and he does. And Luke Stewart fields this one cleanly at the 22. And Grapevine will take over with 3:10 left in the 4th quarter. And so for Grapevine, you have to think they're going to have to throw out some really aggressive plays here from the playbook in order to give themselves a shot here with only 1 timeout left. And it's Ty Johnson that is in at quarterback, his 2nd drive of the night. Coming into tonight's game, 10 of 14 for a 71% completion rate, 135 yards, and 1 touchdown pass. It was that one to Luke Stewart against Birdville. And he actually hands it off to Jake Graham. Jake Graham following his blockers. And he picks up about 5, and that's going to keep the clock running under 3 minutes. And then, unfortunately, we do have an injury on the field, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a short break and come right back with 2:57 left in the 4th. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
American power. Texas Drive, classic Chevrolet, #1 in the world, limited time, a special selection of new Chevys, more than anyone, all priced below market value, plus pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
Shop Stacy Furniture and Design, the family-owned furniture store that North Texans trust for the best selection of quality furniture.
Our showrooms are curated with a sharp focus on design, like this new, beautiful 3-piece sectional.
New collections are arriving daily. With our price match guarantee, you can always rest assured that you will never overpay for furniture from Stacy's.
Our family's commitment to offering the best in quality, style, and affordability is truly what sets us apart. Remember, if you're shopping at Stacy's, you're shopping with family.
And you're not burning money.
We bring you back with 2:57 left in the fourth. Jake Graham was able to walk off with a little bit of assistance from his teammates, so that is encouraging to see. Jake Graham, who's had a fantastic start to this 2024 season. It's a pass out to the perimeter. It's Rylan Goen, who does pick up his first catch of the night, but the Cougars with that speed right there to wrap him up quickly. So for Grapevine, I was just saying, Drew, I mean, for Grapevine, you have to think eventually the passes will need to go from left to right to forward.
Yeah, and they're going to get an opportunity to get a play snap here before a 2-minute warning, 2-minute timeout.
So 2:17 in ticking. Ty Johnson at the quarterback position. And Cooper Towery in motion. Johnson steps up, has a receiver and going, and he's got a blocker in front, and then he is spun out of bounds at the 47. So for Rylan Goen, you have to think, man, that's a big sign of relief for him. I know it's been a little bit of a struggle just connecting with his quarterback, but that's got to feel pretty good for him.
Yeah, good job there, you see, by Ty Johnson stepping up at the pocket, surveying the field. Everybody was running a route on that play, so good job by him. Surveying the field and finding his guy, Rylan Goen.
So we hit the 2-minute timeout here with 1:59 left in the fourth, and we'll take a short break and come right back as you are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio here in Grapevine.
Life moves fast, but protecting what matters shouldn't be complicated. At Graymark Insurance, we make home and auto coverage simple, affordable, and built around you. Old-fashioned service, uncommon speed, that's the Graymark promise. Visit mygraymark.com today and learn more. Again, that's mygraymark.com.
And we welcome you back with 1:59 left at Mustang Panther Stadium. Grapevine trying to make one last push. Still have one timeout left. Picked up a big first down there by Rylan Goen, that catch. Johnson hands it off to Cooper Towery. Towery's got a lane and gets pushed forward inside the 35. And they quickly line up here as that clock will briefly stop until they line up the ball again.
A little surprised they didn't call a little unnecessary roughness, but I guess as you see here, look at this late shot on Ty Johnson. Kind of shaking him up a little bit. But hey, good job by Cooper Towery getting the ball and getting upfield.
Ty Johnson's got some size at 6'2", 190 pounds. 1:37 left. Johnson, the snap goes through his legs and he's able to sit on the ball. And again, you go back to the issues we've seen earlier in this game when it comes to that snap back to the quarterback, and now unfortunately Ty Johnson is down on the ground. And we'll go ahead and we'll take a break and come back here with 1:25 left in the ball game. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Compass Church is for you. Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programming for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
Can't get enough. No. Just can't get enough. Come on, let's go. Can't get enough. Start the show. Can't get enough. Yeah. Just can't get enough. Oh, 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 oh.
And we bring you back to Mustang Panther Stadium. Let's get you caught up on some scores as we wait down on the field. Ty Johnson still getting looked at here by the coaching staff. For District 3 5A Division II scores, Mansfield, Summit, and Burleson. It's a heater right now. Burleson up 30-27 in the fourth quarter. Of course, Burleson lost 21-0 against these Arlington Seguin Cougars last week. So they're trying to fight for a possible playoff chance later in the year. Of course, it matters now with district play. Here's another good one here in the fourth quarter. Colleyville Heritage, Mansfield Timberview. Colleyville Heritage up 42-34, which for Mansfield Timberview to give up 42 points, that's saying something. They have a really strong defense, one of the better ones in 5A Division II. And then in the fourth quarter over in the Colony lead 55-21 against Everman. As we still wait a little bit more, Ty Johnson still getting looked at. And we'll take another break ourselves here. Again, our score, 22-6. Cougars lead with a minute 25 left in the fourth quarter. You're watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
Life moves fast, but protecting what matters shouldn't be complicated. At Graymark Insurance, we make home and auto coverage simple, affordable, and built around you. Old-fashioned service, uncommon speed, that's the Graymark promise. Visit mygraymark.com today and learn more. Again, that's mygraymark.com.
Well, we welcome you back into Mustang Panther Stadium, where both teams have now taken a knee in respect for quarterback Ty Johnson, as he still gets looked at here. In the meantime, let's go ahead and give you some stats from what we've seen so far as we get to the closing seconds of this ball game. Talked about Grapevine, who's done a pretty nice job as far as being able to try to keep themselves in this ball game. And I said we got some stats. But of course, as you said, they've got some stats. All of a sudden, the stats box score goes away. We'll see if we can get those re-uploaded here in a few minutes. But, Drew, from what we've seen so far, that's encouraging to see Ty Johnson able to walk off with the assistance of a couple people. Grapevine, well, of course, will need to score here pretty quickly, and with only having one timeout left, you're obviously going to be considering that onside kick too if you're able to get a score.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have to take a couple shots at the end zone here and quickly, and let your special team, if you get the touchdown, let your special teams try and get the ball back for you via onside kick. But to your point, I think Grapevine's done a good job of keeping this very athletic and well-sounded Cougar offense in check. Keeping them 22 points. It's very manageable if you're if you're trying to compete in this game. Just those couple plays, kind of like last week, just missed on deep balls. things like that.
And then here's Holmes here. There's subbed in, obviously, for Ty Johnson, and there's a pass interference. It looks like they're going to be calling that one on the Cougars. The intended receiver for Grapevine looked to be Cooper Towery, as he was able to run that wheel route. And so Grapevine is going to go ahead and pick up some yards after this penalty, you would imagine. We're going to get this official call here. Oh, no, I take that back. Yeah, surprise of events here as far as there's holding on Grapevine. Now, that pass interference is on the Cougars, so both penalties will cause that play to offset.
Yeah, when I first saw the holding penalty, I was going to say that is the right call because I thought the corner was holding Cooper Towery, before the ball was thrown instead of a pass interference, but so they got the offense on the hold.
So 1:09 left in the fourth. Holmes drops back, pressured, steps up, sides downfield. Has Ryland going with the one-handed catch, able to hold it in. Touchdown Mustangs! A 40-yard touchdown catch by Ryland Goen.
That's how you do everything you can to bring in a ball right there. What a job by Ryland Goen to reel that ball in. You'll see here, Jalen Holmes surveying the field. Has to escape the pressure, throws it up to his guy. Ryland Goen with the one-handed grab. Let's look at that again. Wow.
Yeah, what a fantastic play. And credit to Ryland Goen. Again, the night for him has not probably gone as how he planned it to be. Just been some misplays between him and his quarterback, but keeping it going and then finding a way. And now for Grapevine trying to go for two here, and in a little bit of looks like maybe a mishap, but Grapevine, it still is able to punch it in for the two-point conversion. As in to punch that one in is no other than Luke Gormley.
Can you do a tush push from the shotgun? Look at this. Just kept Luke Gormley keeping his feet moving and the pile driving and getting the two-point conversion.
Well, this linebacker group can do all things for Grapevine. We've seen Cooper Towery make some plays on offense. Now Luke Gormley gets in on the two-point conversion. I mean, at this point, you just got to keep your most athletic star players on the field at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. Have your playmakers making plays out there. And, Luke Gormley, he's been all over the field tonight on the defensive side, and then gets his turn, gets his name called on the offensive side as well.
So Grapevine now down by 8. They'll have to do that again along with a touchdown, a two-point conversion, a combo of that to get themselves to tie this ball game up. And as you would imagine, the onside kick attempt will be coming from Cade Moreland as Grapevine's only down to one timeout. Grapevine again making a late push, kind of similar to what we saw last week against Everman. As Grapevine gets set, Moreland with the kick. And here comes the coverage unit, and the ball goes off of a Cougar, and Grapevine's there to recover. Jaime Sanchez keeps the Mustangs alive.
That right there is why you keep playing the game. You keep playing the game because you get a break like that. And what a kick by Cade Moreland there. That's how you do it. That's how you do it right there. You kick the ball directly at them, make them kind of hot potato it, bounce back 5 yards, easy recovery for the Grapevine.
You're exactly right, Jordan. It looks like it might have went off a helmet from one of the Cougars' kickoff return team. And Grapevine, I mean, credit, again, Jaime Sanchez just flying in there and grabbing that ball. So Grapevine with 57 seconds left, still with one timeout, has a chance to tie this ball game up. Holmes wants to go deep to Luke Stewart, but it looks like there might be pass interference. Luke Stewart, who might have had just a beat on his defender, and sure enough, it is pass interference, so Grapevine will pick up 15 and a first down. Ball at now the 39-yard line. Oh, man, are we cooking tonight.
Yeah, a little handsy there by Brian Ware, I believe, there on the outside. Luke Stewart kept fighting, forced that ref to make that call.
So now first down and 10, 53 seconds left. Cooper Towery in motion. Holmes to his left, has a lot of grass in front of him, and he's going to go for that first down marker, and I believe he picks it up and smartly runs out of bounds. And let's see where they spot this with 46 seconds left. They're actually going to say second down.
Yeah, the refs are going to make them earn every yard. It looked like he crossed that first down marker. You see that all the time with these quarterbacks running out of bounds. They make sure they know where they are out in the field. It looks like maybe he was a little short there, not looking at that replay.
So 46 seconds left, 2nd and 2. Holmes drops back, surveys the field, steps up, pressured, and then oh my goodness, he is whacked down there at the 25, but able to hold on to the ball, quickly gets up. Clock temporarily stops. That's a first down brought to you by Pat White State Farm. 30 seconds left in ticking. Again, Grapevine with 1 timeout left. Holmes rolls to his right. Wants to go towards the sideline. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Rylan Goen.
Kind of a no harm, no foul play there. Not putting the ball in a dangerous situation. Had some receivers there on the right corner of the field. Threw it. Kind of a throwaway, if you will, but hey, stops the clock. You get a second down, and you're about 5 yards away from the red zone area. So, Jalen Holmes showing a lot of heart here, coming in and on this last drive.
Absolutely, ball on the 24-yard line. Holmes already with his first touchdown throw of the season on that last drive. 22 seconds left. Holmes draws back, has time. Goes downfield to Goen at the 3, and he's brought down at the 2. And with 17 seconds left, the clock will temporarily stop again as they line this up. And Grapevine will go ahead and call a timeout. Oh, the Mustangs are live tonight. And we'll take a look here. Instant replay brought to you by Graymark Insurance.
Yeah, check out the patience here by Jalen Holmes. Finding his guy across the middle on the post route, railing Zhao. Boom, right there on the money, and setting themselves up right in goal to go.
Yeah, no, it's Rylan Goen there.
Rylan Goen,
yeah.
I'm afraid.
No,
yes.
yeah. And the thing about Rylan Goen, already with 1 touchdown reception tonight with his first of the season, and then coming up with another crucial play. And we talked about it. It's kind of like just getting the monkey off your back. He gets that big play to get that touchdown reception, and he's got to be feeling really good right now because he comes up with a huge clutch catch right there.
Yeah, you can already kind of tell he's playing a little bit more loose already in such a high-pressure situation. Kind of shows that he's a gamer out there. And, yeah, great catch by Rylan Goen, being the go-to guy in these last 2 minutes.
So, Grapevine, no timeouts left. 17 seconds left. First and goal from the 3. Holmes to a receiver over his head. The clock will stop at 13. Intended receiver was Rayming Zhao. So Grapevine now with a 2nd and goal from the 3. Again, with now 13 seconds left. They got Cooper Towery out there. I'm sure the Cougars are going to keep an eye on him. Rayming Zhao, inside receiver to the left. Rylan Goen, inside receiver to the right. Holmes in the shotgun. Drops back, looks, pressured, and then has Cooper Towery. Oh, and just leads him by an inch. Incomplete with 8 seconds left.
Right there. Good job by Jalen Holmes rolling out, avoiding the sack. That would have been killer for this offense. Yeah, a nice job by Cooper Tower realizing that the cornerback had the flat and kind of turning it into a wheel route.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Drew, and Holmes keeping that play alive. Now with 8 seconds left, 3rd and goal from the 3. Again, Cooper Towery out there to the left of Holmes. And immediately gets out to Luke Stewart. Luke Stewart's got blockers in front of him, and Luke Stewart's in! Touchdown Mustangs! Luke Stewart with his 2nd touchdown of the season, and it couldn't come at even a better time than right now.
Heck of a job here, heck of a play call. Got the receivers that are blocking, got a hat on a hat, leaves a 3-on-1. Boom.
And now the crucial part here, a 2-point conversion attempt. Down by 2 with 4 seconds left. Holmes in the shotgun. Looks to his right, now back to his left. And it's caught! It's caught! Tied ball game! Grapevine finds a way to come back. It's Brady Kays on that backside. And the sidelines, the crowd is ecstatic right now. Grapevine, what a gutsy effort there, and Drew, that play call, as you look here on their instant replay.
Yeah, a little take it one way, look the other way through the back door, and find his guy for the 2-point conversion to tie this ball game up. What a fight by this Grapevine offense. The defense keeping them in the game all night, and the offense coming down in the critical 2 minutes.
Well, and Drew, you bring up a good point here, because look how it was just inches away from being deflected by John Ole Pongo, and great focus by Brady Kays to keep his eyes on the ball and come up with that catch for the key 2-point conversion. 4 seconds left in the ball game, so Grapevine will have to kick this one away. Cade Moreland already with quite a leg that he has. See what he wants to do here, as he's already kicked it in the end zone once before tonight. And actually, hold on a second, there's an onside kick. And Grapevine is going to try to recover this one, as it only, I believe, went 9 yards. So here's the thing, Grapevine is not going to be able to obviously recover this one with that ball only going 9 yards. Now there's 3 seconds left in the ball game with our score tied 22-22. You thinking maybe Grapevine thought with 4 seconds left the clock maybe would run out at this case?
Yeah, I think so, but then again, you do a squib kick, I think, kind of in the middle of the field. Maybe you don't want to give the ball to these athletic playmakers on the Cougar side. So did they decline the penalty?
Now it looks like they accepted, because now the Grapevine defense is, it almost looks like they're in kickoff coverage right now, as they are not only playing the sidelines, but also, of course, playing towards the end zone too. So now the Cougars will get the ball near the 50-yard line, and let's see if they want to just take one last heave at this. There's actually 4 seconds left, and they're going to go ahead and talk it over with a timeout. So, Drew, I mean, we're looking at this right here. I mean, you talk about fireworks left and right here. Grapevine, obviously, in prevent defense here, as the Cougars, who have lost a receiver in Polk due to injury. We have not seen him come back. They do have a guy in Jamani Smith, who is a key receiver for them. We've seen Keon Meeky, Chase Anderson with a catch, but really it's been their running backs that have been able to produce some yards here. But obviously with 4 seconds left, you would just imagine they're going to just take one last heave into the end zone.
Yeah, I can just see Coach Ryan Smith going out there, pumped up for his secondary and his defense, and he kind of huddle up his secondary that are going to be in this prevent defense on the back third of the field, kind of pumping them up, getting them ready to go. But yeah, these receivers that you just mentioned, they're going to be highlighted on this play, absolutely.
So 4 seconds left. Chevy Andrews in the shotgun. Grapevine playing, oh my goodness, about 20 yards off from their from the receivers, as they're expecting a Hail Mary attempt by the Cougars. And here is actually a short pass. It's out in the flats, and the rally to the ball philosophy works out well for the Mustangs, as they're able to bring the ball carrier down, and that will take us to the end of the fourth quarter with our score 22-22. Grapevine with the comeback to tie this ball game up. We will take a short break, and then we have overtime here at Mustang Panther Stadium. You are watching Mustang Friday Night on Tradio.
American power. Texas Drive, classic Chevrolet, #1 in the world, limited time, a special selection of new Chevys, more than anyone, all priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
And we bring you to overtime here at Mustang Panther Stadium, where Grapevine putting in the effort in that fourth quarter to come up with that miraculous attempt at tying this ball game, which they did. And so now we will go ahead and get the first overtime game for Grapevine in the early part of this season. And Grapevine will start out with the ball to begin overtime. So Drew, with all that we've seen here in the late part of this game, for Grapevine, they finally have actually been able to have a consistent passing game.
Oh yeah,
towards the end of that ball, towards the end of that fourth quarter.
Absolutely, this has been their fourth quarter, and the momentum is on their side right now. Let's see how they take advantage of it.
So Holmes in the shotgun, gives it off to Jaime Sanchez on that right side, and he runs into a couple of Cougars. That's a tough assignment there on that strong right side of the Cougars defensive line. And so now they'll bring up second down. And, you know, credit Holmes, too, who was on the sidelines. Ty Johnson was in the game, and he had the injury that happened to him. And Jalen Holmes, with his experience, comes in and keeps the offense driving.
Yeah, it really showed his gamer mentality that he has. You know what? Smart IQ by those pass interferences were by design. He knew where he was throwing it.
Now it's second down and 13. Holmes has time and then gets it out to the flats, and it's caught. Rayming Zhao, who picks up a solid gain down to the 22-yard line, is going to make this third down a little bit more feasible.
Yeah, well-designed play there to get some of that yardage back for a manageable third down. Rayming Zhao there, good catch, and way to stop and then cut up and turn upfield for an extra couple more yards there. Oh, heck, by that instant replay, it looked like he was up at the 20-yard line.
It did look pretty close to that. So now Grapevine has a 3rd and 7. Bunch receivers to the right. Brody Hunter by himself on the near side. Jake Graham back with Holmes. Holmes steps up, pressured. There's a flag, and then he is swung down at the 30-yard line. There's a couple flags on the play, and they might be for the same reason. See if maybe it's in the area of a holding.
Interesting decision here by the Cougars. See if they want to give him another shot at third down and back him up, or put him at fourth down already, and get that. See if Grapevine sends the PAT.
Again, as we mentioned about Austin Schilling, the kicker, did have the length for about 42 from when he was warming up before tonight's game. It definitely will be against Grapevine, it looks like. Now, to your point, you're just trying to figure out what Cougars want to do. So the Cougars actually will decline the penalty and force Grapevine with a 4th down. And out comes the kicking team. Austin Schilling's longest kick this season is 30 yards. This one will be from about 47. Kicking team lines up. Ball is spotted. Kick is away. It's got the distance. And it's good! Grapevine up by 3 now with a powerful kick by Austin Schilling. His best kick of the season at 47. So now with Grapevine up by 3, of course the Cougars have a chance to match or win the game with a touchdown. But you got to think that momentum right now is definitely going to help out this defense of the Mustangs.
Yeah, how about that? At the beginning of the game, we made a key point about the field goal unit of this Grapevine team. And what do you know? They come up clutch there with a 47-yard field goal, take the lead in overtime. And let's see if this defense can keep doing what they've been doing and keeping the Cougars in check. Going to rely heavily on, we keep saying their names, Cooper Towery, Luke Wormley, Tatum Evans, Harrison Bargy. Those guys are going to be the leaders here.
Well, you got Isaac Bly and Deshaun Ware at running back for the Cougars, and they give it out to Bly, who's able to spin away from a defender and then runs into a group of Mustangs at the 22. And yeah, you're going to probably think there's going to be a heavy dose of a rushing attack by the Cougars as they are without their star receiver, Donovan Polk, who was hurt earlier in the game. So that brings up 2nd and 7. Chevy Andrews takes the snap. Pressure. Tries to escape from it. And it looked like he was slowing down there for a second and is going to be able to run out of bounds. Cedric Hicks was right there on his heels. And I think he was only able to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, just out of pure athleticism here. Getting out of that little tackle there and making something out of nothing, Chevy Andrews.
The crowd all on their feet on the Grapevine side. 3rd and 8. At defensive line for Grapevine, got Blake Johnson along with Cedric Hicks and Lucas Manderville. The Cougars line up. Well, actually, it looks like they have some confusion here, and they're going to take a timeout. And why don't we just keep it here with all the intensity that we have going on right now, Drew? You know, when we look at this crucial play, well, what could you see possibly the Cougars utilizing here, and how can the Grapevine Mustangs defend?
You know, I think they're going to utilize the duo of Chevy Andrews and Darius Trotter. See if they can keep the ball on the ground here and either get the first, or if it's fourth and short, they're going to go for it. I don't think they're going to go ahead and tie it with a field goal with the way they've been so aggressive on 4th down. So I think it's going to be very critical for this Grapevine defense, the D-line, to get that initial push. And if they, indeed do run the ball, linebackers fill the gaps and rally to the football.
Yeah, they do have Oscar Lopez as a kicker, and so far tonight has made his extra points. Chevy Andrews in the shotgun. And he's got Deshaun Ware to his right. No Trotter. 3rd and 8. Grapevine shows heat. They pressure. Andrews has a receiver, but it's too short. Brings up 4th down. His intended receiver was Deshaun Maribel. So now it looks like the Cougars might actually bring out the kicking unit here. Oscar Lopez is lining up to kick this one.
Chevy Andrews had his guy there on that play. I was surprised they didn't keep it on the ground, but they had the opportunity.
So it's going to be about a 40-yard kick. And the play clock is actually down to 6 seconds here. It's a late substitution for the Cougars. Down to 3. And it looks like there might be a delay of game here. Oh, no, they're saying they're going to reset the play clock.
Not sure why.
I know the coaching staff of Grapevine here to our left, we can definitely hear them. They absolutely disagreed with that one. So now, Oscar Lopez to tie this ball game. 40-yard, oh no, they're going to fake it, and it's the fake throw, and it's completed, and the Cougars will walk out of here victoriously with the trickery play, and yes, absolutely, it was on special teams. Grapevine unfortunately didn't see the change in the play there, and it was actually Jonathan Polk that slid in there, took the direct snap, and then found Deshaun Maribel, and that really has been the story tonight, unfortunately, is trickery from the special teams of the Arlington Seguin Cougars. And so Grapevine, unfortunately, will come away with a loss on such a valiant effort to tie this ball game at 22-all. But for the Cougars, gutsiness, the theme of the night. We talked about how much they try to basically avoid kicking the ball with punts and field goals. They prefer to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, and sure enough, they come away with the victory with that aggressive play.
Yeah, their special teams has been the focal point of this game with the aggressiveness, and you know, great play call there by the Cougars coaching staff. Like you said, gutsy. If it doesn't work out, that's ball game. Worked out on their end, but yeah, like you said, special teams always plays a factor, but this one is kind of a different scenario.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately for Grapevine, definitely going to be another learning experience here. And Grapevine will now be 0-2 in district play. Absolutely some positives to take away from this ball game, as Grapevine was down, came back and scored 16 straight points, and then came away with a field goal to put themselves up by 3 in overtime. But then the Cougars come away with another trick play up their sleeves on special teams and come away with the victory tonight. Drew, before we close this one out here, you think about all that Grapevine went through with, unfortunately, the injuries. You think about Jake Graham. You think about Ty Johnson. And the guys that stepped up. If you had to put a player as a player of the game from the Mustangs side, who might that be?
I got to give you two. I got to give you Cooper Towery and Jalen Holmes. Cooper Towery for his consistent play throughout the night, and then Jalen Holmes those last 3 minutes of that fourth quarter, really putting the team on his back and coming in and doing the job. But really, the one thing I want to point out for this Grapevine team is the way they handle adversity. I think that's a positive sign and shows the right signs of a culture being created by this coaching staff.
Well, we close this ball game out here in Grapevine, Texas. I want to make sure that we get our sponsors out there. So our title sponsor tonight, Groves Family Dealerships, along with our other sponsors, Stacy Furniture, Compass Church, Classic Chevrolet, Chill, Graymark Insurance, and Pat White State Farm. Tonight, our final score, Arlington Seguin wins 28-25 in overtime against Grapevine. For myself, Mason Doherty, my broadcast partner, Drew Doherty, and our producer, Zach Jones, good night, everyone.